Welcome, one, and welcome all. Raise those hands. Raise those hands. Everyone, everyone raise your hands right now. I'm not kidding.
Coulter.
Okay?
You in the car? Hey,
Coulter.
you driving?
Raise your hands. Raise your hands.
Get your hands off the wheel
hey,
now.
you, who's keeping us safe, get your hands off the wheel. Nope. Don't steer the car. Jesus takes the wheel now.
All right.
Boys, we're letting Jesus take the wheel on this 13th episode of Not So Subtle.
Lucky number 13.
And this is actually being recorded on Friday the 13th. It's not.
Totally.
Everyone put your hands down.
Why was I like,
true.
oh my god?
No,
Coulter's like, seriously?
It's like, wait, is it actually Friday?
Right.
Is it the 13th?
It's Wednesday, you know
Dude,
that.
it's Wednesday, it's the 9th.
It's Wednesday, my dudes.
It's Wednesday the 9th.
Guys, we're back. I'm Dane LaPointe. Who are you?
I am Jordan Miller.
Who are you?
I'm Coulter Potter.
Where's Kermit? Where's Kermit?
Oh, shit. I'm
I'll go get him.
Where the fuck is
What's the
Kermit?
name of this fucking podcast?
The name of this podcast is Not So Subtle.
What do we do?
Well, we talk about...
No, like, actually, what do we do here? What?
I don't know. I thought that you... I was relying on you to...
No.
No?
No.
Okay.
Coulter?
Oh,
Coulter.
Coulter. Guys, we discovered that this song called Goddess by Banks.
Goddess.
Goddess. Sorry.
I actually feel like I like that pronunciation a little bit better.
Goddess?
Yeah, goddess.
Okay, you can keep that to yourself. It's by Banks. It just literally sounds like she's saying Coulter, even though it says colder. But we refuse to acknowledge that. Now it's Coulter.
The song is in memoriam of Coulter.
Right. Because he's been dead inside for 23
years now.
Goodbye, world.
Rest in peace, Coulter's emotion.
So yeah, what do we do here?
Buried
we
right
talk
next
about.
to mine.
Ooh, okay.
Yeah.
We talk about video games, movies, pop culture, Kermit the Frog here. Talk about all sorts of stuff. What are we talking about this week, boys?
Well,
a few different things.
We're talking about Interview with a Vampire.
This is true.
Interview with the Vampire.
The Vampire. Please, correct title.
The Vampire Chronicles.
The Vampire Slayer.
Buffy the Vampire Chronicles Slayer.
Not bad.
Thank you.
So this is a movie directed by Joss Whedon. No, it's not. It's not.
The Avengers.
Yeah.
What else
we watched another wacky film, Interview with the Vampire. If anyone says Interview with a Vampire, just...
You're going to get bit.
That's offensive. They put a
suck,
lot of work
Coulter.
into that title.
You're going to get sucked if you say it.
You're going to get sucked off.
2 C's.
Yes. You're going to get thick sucked.
We're also going to be talking about... Coulter, you have a little game for us to play, it sounds like.
Yeah, I've been... there's this
Some sort of little activity?
challenge on the internet. It's called One Gotta Go.
One Gotta Go.
And we're going to take one, we're going to cut it off, and we're going to leave it to die.
Okay, and the first one is one of us has to go. Kermit, Jordan, Coulter, or Dane. Who has to
Obviously not Kermit, I'll tell you that.
It's obviously Kermit.
Kermit, the tribe has spoken.
You gotta go.
You're safe, boy.
What else we got? Some video games, probably.
We got some video games. Overwatch, the summer event has started. The second summer event.
We got a hot summer.
Yep, we got a hot summer with some hot skins.
Some hotties.
Yep, and then we're going to be
Our
talking
prayers
about...
were answered.
Somewhat.
I'm pretty happy with...
I think I said something about the character that ended up getting a hot skin.
Yeah, you did.
I think
probably.
I threw it in at the end.
Yeah.
It wasn't what we wished for, but...
That's right. But still pretty good. So it's pretty good. So we're going to talk about Overwatch event in general, and the skins probably is the main discussion point here.
That's all I care about.
It's true. And then some other video game related stuff. But first, one's got to go.
Let's get right into the news.
One's got to go.
One always has to go. In each group of friends, one has to go.
I'm scared, actually.
Why?
Now, the first one is an easy one.
Is it?
Speak for yourself.
We got a couple different types of juice here.
Okay.
Juice.
One's got to go between apple, grape, cranberry, and orange.
Grape.
Apple.
Really?
Easy.
Grape is good.
I'm going to go with apple.
I was instantly...
Apple?
Yeah.
Are you guys kidding me?
Dude, grape was...
These are the seminal juices.
Grape is... I'm going to say right now...
Coulter, hold on one moment.
Hold on, be careful.
Guys.
Careful there. Can the title of this episode just be seminal juices?
We already got it.
I don't know about that.
I don't know about that.
What are you going to say? Are you going to say like cranberry?
Yes.
Cranberry is a staple juice.
No, get out of here. Cranberry
juice?
is a cleanser.
All right.
And just a good-ass drink.
It's a good-ass juice.
Just
hold on, is it cranberry cocktail or
cranberry cocktail is drinkable? Cranberry just straight up
it's a little bitter.
Is bitter and used as like mixer and also to cleanse yourself.
Look, it's great as a mixer. Cran vodka. I like it.
Yeah.
It's a good drink. It's a solid drink.
Listen, you got cran grape. Get like some Welch's. They mix that shit together. Cran grape. You got cran pomegranate.
I'm gonna say right now.
Cranagranate.
I'm gonna say right now. If grape is your favorite juice, get the fuck out of here. I don't want to talk to anyone who says grape is their favorite.
I mean,
juice.
people love grape.
I fucking hate grape. Anything soda, juice, cough syrup. I like grapes, like the fruit. Like I'm down to pop a few grapes, but I'm not drinking no grape juice.
I think there was a Dave Chappelle bit
of the barrel.
That was
the bottom of the barrel.
It's the worst juice.
We all know what black people like to eat. I'm trying to figure out what white people like to eat. And then he's like, I'm on to you. It's grape juice. And then he said that.
That's pretty funny.
But actually,
and then he was like, we don't have grape juice. We have grape drink.
A lot of people do like grape juice.
Yeah, a lot of people like grape juice. Don't act like this isn't a bold take.
Oh, it is a bold take.
Dane's bold take.
This is Dane's bold take. That's our theme song for everything.
Yeah. That's our segment song. All right. Well, you guys are wrong.
What was your take?
Cranberry?
Cranberry.
Coulter has
we all said that it's
0.
like not good.
No, we didn't.
I didn't say that.
No one said that.
I said cranberry straight up is bitter. I didn't say it was bad. I still would drink it.
Over any of the other juices. Yeah. If I had a glass of apple juice and a glass of just straight cranberry juice, which one would you drink?
I like cranberry. I like the taste of cranberry. I like the bitterness.
All right, he's a husk of a man.
I'd rather drink lead from a bullet than.
I'd rather Jinkies. Okay, so this one's a little different. It's candy bars.
Oh.
Okay.
These aren't the seminal classics that we've come to know and love.
Stop saying that word.
This picture,
unlike the seminal juices.
It's
been ruined.
This picture is just one that was highly circulated. So we got Milky Way, already not a classic. However,
people
like it.
Continue.
Milky Way, Three Musketeers, Baby Ruth, and 100 Grand.
Baby Ruth, get the fuck out.
No, dude, 100 Grand is the best candy bar out there.
Okay.
I've said that multiple times. So that's staying. Baby Ruth is pretty good.
Yeah, but I mean...
Milky Way is a classic.
Milky Way
what was the
is
other
a
one?
staple.
Three Musketeers.
Also
I'll take out Three Musketeers.
I like Three Musketeers better than Baby Ruth. Baby Ruth, you gotta go.
So what does Baby Ruth have in it? I never have it.
Isn't it like peanuts
Baby Ruth is the one that's just straight up peanuts and then like salty caramel underneath.
So it's sort of like a payday bar, but it has no chocolate.
No, Baby Ruth has no chocolate. Baby Ruth has nothing.
It does have chocolate.
Oh, you're right. Payday is the one without chocolate.
Payday, yeah.
Okay.
I'm not up on my game.
Baby, hold on.
Baby boy, use it.
No, I think you're right.
I'm gonna say right now. Wait, is 100 Grand the one that has little crispies?
Yeah.
I've never had 100 Grand.
100 Grand is.
I think 100 Grand is 100 Grand. It's pretty good.
It's so good.
It's a pricey.
Okay, here it is. Bar. So Baby Ruth bar is an American candy bar made of peanuts, caramel and chocolate flavored nougat, covered in compound chocolate.
Compound chocolate.
Let's get a picture. Let's get an up-close picture.
Is that like a compound metal?
I'm not sure.
Let's get an up-close picture for the audio listeners.
Yeah.
Yeah, all you audio listeners, pull out your phones for a 4D experience. Look up a picture of Baby Ruth.
Baby, if you're in the car, be a baby driver and look up a Baby Ruth.
A baby driver. Okay, this shit looks pretty fire, dude.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to say Baby Ruth.
Looking at it here,
Three Musketeers.
It's not a great picture. I'm gonna say.
I like Three Musketeers a lot. It's nice and like light. It's very light.
It is
very light.
It is very light.
It's not a strong man's candy bar. I'll say that.
I'm just gonna say that I think Three Musketeers has to go.
It's not a. This isn't like a democracy. You can have your opinion. Want.
No, I mean it's my way or the highway.
It's not a vote.
I mean we're taking straws here. Wait, what was yours, Jordan?
Baby Ruth. has got to go.
Yeah, for me, Baby Ruth has got to go. 100 grand is the best.
Listen, I haven't even had a 100 grand bar. Baby Ruth, you got to go.
I'm going to tell you right now that 100, like I said before, 100 grand is my favorite candy bar.
Okay.
It's very good.
I mean, Milky Way could go for me, too. We haven't really talked about Milky Way.
I don't like how you said that it wasn't a classic.
It's clearly a classic.
Milky it's one of the most popular.
Milky Way is definitely on the same level as Snickers.
Absolutely not.
Yes, it is. It's the other Snickers.
Yeah, they're like the payday bar to Baby Ruth. One of them has one thing that it doesn't. Yes, it does. They're just missing one separate thing.
But Baby Ruth and Payday are on different tiers. Milky Way, if this is a fighting game, like Milky Way and Snickers would both be like the A tier, like the S tier, like the very top. They'd be the two top, and then the next one down would be probably like Butterfinger or like, I don't even know what else would be on there. Maybe Three Musketeers. I feel like that's a classic for some people. Reese's.
It's very funny that you said fighting game because the next one is fighting games.
Really?
We got Tekken.
Okay.
Street Fighter.
Tekken's got to go.
Soul Calibur. Mortal Kombat.
Mortal Kombat's got to go.
Yeah.
Savage.
Listen,
wait, Tekken, Street Fighter, Mortal Kombat,
Soul Calibur.
Soul Calibur. Oh yeah, Mortal Kombat.
I thought you guys were gonna say Soul Calibur.
I love Soul Calibur. That was my first fighting game that I fell in love with. Soul Calibur 4.
Yeah, I actually have a on-off history with Tekken.
Guys, don't tune out people that don't know about video games. We got more topics coming up after this.
About video games.
No.
Tekken 2 was one of the first fighting games I played. It was on like I think Tekken 2 came on the PS1, maybe it was PS2, but I definitely played that really early.
I remember playing
Let's talk about our very first experiences with games and how it evolved from there. No, let's not. Let's just say which one would go.
What I was going to say was I played Tekken Tag Tournament.
No, we don't care. We don't have to listen to it anymore. Speed this up. Come on.
Do you have more to say?
No, Mussolini, please continue.
I actually have nothing to say on this subject.
All right, cool. Mortal Kombat's got to go.
So if you don't, then why should we?
You're right. Next, no, go on.
No, it's fine.
All right.
It's fine.
I'm glad to move on.
No, I know. To the concentration camp, or like...
I was thinking maybe we should think of the more popular candy bars being Crunch, Snickers.
Is Crunch one of the more popular ones? I feel like that's a movie theater only type of deal.
What? No, absolutely not. Bunch of Crunch is movie theater only.
Is it though?
Yes.
I don't know if I've never seen a Crunch
you guys,
bar in the wild.
I feel like all the people watching this are going to be screaming at their camera.
No, they're not.
Their phone.
No.
Coulter knows all the right opinions, and
That's
wrong.
not true.
I mean, you said Milky Way.
You said Milky Way wasn't a classic, and I feel like
you're gonna give someone out there too strong.
No, you're gonna give someone out there an aneurysm when they hear
that. It's not like top 3.
Yes, it is 100%.
No, it's not.
Snickers, Milky Way, and then the third spot is up for debate. But I'm not. It's a hard stance
insane.
on that.
Crunch bar
Milky Way number 2.
Crunch bar is not even.
I'm not saying number 2. It's in the top.
Crunch bar is my favorite candy bar. So
that's fair, but in the wider scheme of the world,
I'm pretty sure ranks. Crunch bar is like number.
Dude,
it's really high up. It's like top 5.
Hilarious story about Crunch bars.
Let's see if there's
when we went. Am I allowed to say this?
I don't know.
Mussolini, can I say something about Crunch bars? Do you remember when we went to the movie and your mom gave us like?
Oh, you were asking me if it was okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, you can say.
When we went to the movie and your mom provided us with like each of us with one like Crunch bar, but it was the snack size, and then we were making the joke that like we would eat one piece of Crunch bar, like one little bite-sized Crunch bar for every quarter of the movie.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I had 4 like
it was
fun-size crunches, and Dane thought it was really funny that I was gonna eat one for each quarter of the film.
Guess you had to be there, am I right, guys?
I thought it was funny.
I'm sorry that that just hit you guys really hard. I didn't mean it like that. There's no way to rank these candy bars.
Is that because Crunch bar is not listed in the top 5 best candy bars?
Maybe I can look up best-selling candy bars
in the U.S.
I mean, it's just going to be Hershey's.
Fair. I mean, classic Hershey's chocolate. There's a reason it wasn't on that list because ain't nobody going to say Hershey's off the list.
That's true, but I would argue that like Hershey's chocolate is the basis for a lot of things, but the Hershey's bar itself, like I feel like a lot of people aren't buying those.
I like it. I like the cookies and cream one.
The cookies and
How about
cream
the
one
symphony?
is good, but like,
It's a symphony.
You guys heard that?
Yeah, I don't know. I'm alright with it.
I don't know what that is.
It's like some fancy shit that you buy at like the like.
Like Ghirardelli's or something.
No, it's Hershey's, right? Or is it Nestle?
We don't know.
What?
The symphony?
It's Hershey's, I think. What? This can't be true. Number 10 is, or number 9 is O. Henry. What is that?
I don't know.
Probably like a European brand.
Oh,
could
yeah,
be like
I see
off-
it here.
This is what?
Anyways,
A lot of candy bars are regional, so I mean,
I
Yeah.
think that might be a foreign one. Let's move on to the next one.
okay.
So we've got French toast, waffles, pancakes, or cinnamon rolls.
Cinnamon rolls.
Cinnamon rolls gotta go.
Are you kidding me? You guys are like in consensus about each one, and then I have a wildly different opinion.
Look,
Cinnamon rolls are my favorite.
Dude, French toast is fucking fire, bro.
That's gotta go.
I mean,
for me.
no.
I'm just kidding. No, I'm just kidding.
No, honestly, I'm gonna have an aneurysm now.
I'm just kidding.
I feel
Waffles gotta
ill.
go for me.
No.
If I didn't say cinnamon rolls, I would have said pancakes because they're kind of boring.
You
to
like
me,
waffles
but-
better than pancakes?
Yeah,
And French toast better than
I like
both of
French
them?
toast better than all that shit combined.
Yeah, French toast is pretty fire. Okay, honestly, there's a restaurant nearby that you guys are well aware of that serves cinnamon roll French toast, and it's okay.
I'm not a big sweet tooth guy, so I like savory stuff. That's why I like French toast.
Yeah,
I wouldn't get sweet like French toast, but people get like strawberry.
So you just
like
eat it without
Okay,
any
so-
maple syrup.
I use syrup sometimes, but
okay.
mostly
So
butter.
listen up. How do you feel about a Monte Cristo?
I don't. Explain what a Monte Cristo is.
It's like a sandwich, but with French toast as the bread,
It's a ham sandwich, basically, that was deep fried.
and it has powdered sugar on it, and it's served with
You dip it in a jelly.
a strawberry jelly. I had one at
I'm out.
13 coins.
You're out.
It was fire,
because
dude.
it's
no,
powdered sugar
and
I would,
sweet.
I would highly recommend trying it. It's really
It's
good.
so like
It's so
heavy.
Good. It is very intense.
You can't eat more than 7 bites of that.
Is that just a whole sandwich?
That's
No,
7
'cause they're
bites and
huge.
7 bites only.
Yeah. So okay, final answers on that. You guys are going cinnamon roll. Mm-hmm. All right, I'm going waffle. Although the best
Let it be
waffle,
known. Sorry.
the best Mussolini, the best waffle I ever had was Cafe Medina in Vancouver. It literally like melts in your mouth, and it's just the best flavor of all time.
Dude, did you like pig and pancake when we went there? And
It was all right.
let it be known that cinnamon rolls are pretty good. I'm a fan of cinnamon rolls.
Thank you.
But in that group, it's got to go.
I just don't like.
I don't
that
think
also
any
seems
of
like
these-
the odd man out. Like French toast, waffles, and pancakes are all breakfast things. But like
Yeah.
cinnamon roll is not like I wouldn't go to a place and just like, I'll have a cinnamon roll for breakfast, good sir. And it's like,
Yeah,
no,
I feel like you could.
It's funny because I've done that. I
Silly.
did that at the place that we were talking about, the cinnamon roll French toast.
What was I gonna say? Yeah. So as a disclaimer, because I don't know if this goes for you guys too, but because I picked something to go, doesn't mean that I don't like it. The only one that applies to is grape juice. I don't like grape juice. I'll never drink.
It's just my least favorite of the group.
Yeah, exactly. Some of these I might hate. Who knows?
Should we move on here?
Sure.
All right, so I got 2 more. These are both restaurant ones. Okay, so we got 3 diners here. We got Denny's, IHOP, and Shari's. I don't know if they have Shari's like countrywide or whatever, but
It's the same as those things. Though.
yeah,
Like,
it's basically the same.
if you've been to a Denny's or an IHOP, you know the kind of place we're talking about.
I'm gonna say Sherry's.
I honestly might go with Denny's.
And I'm gonna go with
Denny's.
IHOP.
Wow.
Wow,
Really?
we got the trio.
Actually, IHOP
So-
is like way more expensive than those other two, and just
and
as
it's
bad.
not that much better.
I was gonna say I've only been to IHOP once, honestly, in my life, and it was fine. But it was definitely on the same scale of like you have to be under the influence of something to ever probably ever question going to Denny's or IHOP or Sherry's.
I mean, those places are basically just like palette swaps of each other. Like just swap
They
the
are-
board outside, and you have a Sherry's, and now you have an IHOP.
yeah,
now you
and
have
so
a
like
Denny's.
none of these are that great on it, or they're all bad. They're all bad. Like Denny's is. I didn't say Denny's because Denny's is like the McDonald's of that kind of thing, where it's
Yeah.
like easily the most popular. It's essentially like when someone says like, oh, I need a Band-Aid, but they really mean a bandage. When you think of like a diner, like a shitty diner, you think of Denny's. Like that's the thing.
I mean, that's the one I've certainly gone to the most out of all of those, but I still think it's not the best.
It's pretty bad. I mean, I've only been to Shari's a few times, but the service has been. I mean, the service at Denny's has been bad too, but the service at Shari's was really bad.
I mean, when you go to Denny's at 4:00 in the morning, you're not going to expect good service.
That's true. I don't know. I only picked Shari's because I haven't been there as much as the other ones. They're all bad.
I honestly picked IHOP because I haven't been there as much as the others. There's not one like really close to us.
Yeah, IHOP is definitely like the one that is not near us at all.
Yeah.
I feel like I went there once for like their free pancake day or whatever, and maybe one other time when I was younger, but I don't remember.
Yeah.
I think they actually do like chocolate chip pancakes though, which I don't think Denny's just
does.
like. Do they just like put it in like?
They just pour it on top.
Yeah, they put it on top. They don't like put it inside, right?
I think they do. They do both.
I don't remember them doing that, but it's possible. I know that at least IHOP has a bunch of different like types that like are much more robust than
I also
the Denny's
feel like,
selection.
I feel like IHOP is on. It's almost not. I don't know. It's only comparable because it's cheap and bad. It's not like people don't go to IHOP and get like a cheesy like toast sandwich thing or like whatever weird ass like entrees Denny's has. I feel like you go to IHOP's and you get pancakes. Like you go there and
International
you get,
House Up.
There you go. So I feel like you just go there and you just get like that, like a variant of a pancake something. You don't really go there and get like a burger or something.
Yeah, I mean, I'm sure there's a million people that go there and get like something other than pancakes.
Millions of people go to all these places and they all hate us now.
Yeah.
Hey,
we're gonna get hate if anyone watches
look,
this.
none of those are
Boom.
fine dining. They can't expect people to. Yeah, well, I'm gonna go in on those restaurants any day of the week.
I've been there plenty of times.
Yeah,
I just don't think it's.
I don't think I'm better than it.
I'm gonna say that Denny's has had like the most misses of any like that I've been to,
Yeah.
but it's probably because I've been there so many times.
It's just clearly the numbers.
It's not really fair comparison.
Okay.
All
So
right,
we all
gone
said
in
something
on all
different.
these. Yeah, we did all say
That's
something
weird.
different. But Jordan, were you leaning more towards IHOP at the end?
A little bit, but I still think I'm just gonna go with Denny's. I think I feel better picking Denny's because I've been there so often that I know like how much I don't like it. Whereas IHOP, I've been there a couple times and it was fine. Denny's.
We were supposed to be in agreement on everything, Jordan. If you are not with me, you're
Thank
my
God.
enemy.
I mean, we were
No,
in
I
disagreement since the start.
What do you mean?
You chose grape juice. I chose apple juice.
Oh, but everything else we've been aligned on.
Sure.
Whatever. It's just
Fuck
don't
off.
even
I don't
talk to me.
care anymore.
Fuck off.
I need to sow seeds of dissent between you two, so it's not just you two
I'm
against
siding with
me.
Coulter next time, so fuck you.
I doubt it because the next one is Taco Bell, Taco Time, Taco Del Mar. This is another where Taco Del Mar is probably not like worldwide.
I feel like it's.
I'm sure it's not worldwide. It's
don't
definitely
know,
not
man.
countrywide.
Okay, here's the thing. I'll be honest. Taco Bell's not that great. I'm gonna say it right now. Taco Bell's not that great. I've never once like on my own. I've never thought like
Taco Bell's the Denny's of Taco World.
Yeah, and I've also
Taco
never once like look
Glove World.
with fast food. Like I'm pretty open. Like if I'm on my own, like coming back from work or whatever, I'll be like, I'll go to Jack in the Box or like whatever it is. I've never once thought about going to Taco Bell. I don't like Taco Bell that much. I'll go like with people. It's not that it's like that bad. It's fast food or whatever, but I never have had a moment where I'm like, oh, dude, I need a gordita fucking.
See, I feel like I'm
wrap.
intimidated by Taco Bell because they have so much shit on the menu that I don't know what it really is. Like I can go to McDonald's, but like, yeah, just give me like a number 4 like combo or whatever.
Like
And
it's
they'll be
just safe.
And it just says right. It's like, oh, it's like a double quarter pounder. I'm like, all right, I know what that is. And then I go to Taco Bell, and it's just like, do you want a super cheesy gordita upside down crunch?
Gordito, enchilito, nagito.
I don't.
Yeah, and you're just like, it probably has like cheese in it.
I was like, I don't know. What that, I don't know
You
what
can
that
bet
is.
that it has chicken, cheese, and tortilla.
Yeah, and then maybe if you're lucky, you'll get some fucking cold ass guacamole that just tastes like ass.
that. That's for your case specifically.
Look,
some people might like
look.
Guacamole. But I have had
That's
things
fine.
that I've liked at Taco Bell, honestly. But I like
not ragging on Taco Bell.
Taco Del Mar is clearly the highest quality food out of all of those choices.
That's true, and for that reason, I'm gonna say Taco Bell.
And for that reason, I'm going to say Taco Del Mar because that's the only one where I'm forced to interact with people, and I hate that. So Taco Del Mar is
Damn, that's just a horrible reason.
No, it's like we're talking. Wait, okay. So if we're going, you can. That's fine. That's an opinion. But if we're going off just the food, what would you say?
Just the food, probably Taco Bell.
Fair.
I get that though, because I feel like Taco Del Mar is not comparable in that way, where it's like not a sit down, but it's like a Chipotle style where you go in there and you make
I don't have to go in there and have the person look at me and be like, well, what do you want? And be like, listen, I don't really know. Can I get
just like a burrito with this shit?
Can I get like the bean? What kind of beans do you want? Pinto, black, white?
Because you'll say
brown
like
beans,
I want a mondo burrito, and then because I've been there recently at the mall.
Cool.
I remember, like, they'll ask you what type of tortilla, they'll ask you what type of beans, what kind of
a lot of
sauce you
stuff.
want, what kind of rice, like, do you want sour cream,
Same
like,
reason
do
I
you
like
want chips,
Chipotle. I don't like being
all that
forced
stuff.
into those pressure situations.
Yeah,
do you
because
feel about Subway?
because then by the end, you're like, did I make the right choice? Like, is this the burrito I want?
Yeah, and usually it's fine, like it's good, but like Subway is different for me because
Because it's shit?
it's fine. I mean it's Subway. I can go in there and I have no problem saying, hey, can I get whatever thing, put literally everything on it. And then I can just I can just sit there and relax as they put everything on it, and I have no more interaction. And that's it.
Do they?
But you do
so
that,
you've actually
but you do
said
that for the sake of no interaction?
Yeah, and I mean I like it, and also it just makes things way easier.
I'm like a little more picky with my stuff.
Have you
I'm
actually
not
said
picky
that?
at all. Yeah, I say that every time.
What do they? Do
put
they
everything
actually
on it.
put like tomatoes and like every other? They put jalapenos on
Yeah.
there. And then
They'll usually ask you like, do you want jalapenos? I'll be like, I said everything. Yeah.
I said everything. You just condescend. Them.
Yeah, you just like lean over the table and like, I fucking said everything.
Did I say everything but jalapenos?
Did I stutter? No, did I stutter?
You go there for the like purpose of not wanting to make them like, or you not wanting to feel bad, and then you make them feel bad.
But you just
Yeah.
berate them for asking, like, for
No,
being.
I'm very nice, and I just say,
No,
can I
I
get
know.
everything? And then they say,
What about
yep.
all the sauces?
The sauces?
All that
no,
shit.
the sauces. I mean, I'll be like, can I get like a little bit of mustard? Sometimes
Mayonnaise?
I'll
So they-
switch to the mayonnaise.
You've already condescended them, so they're like, okay, I'm actually gonna put every single thing. So then they start doing the.
And then you're like,
the
no,
things,
I
and you're like,
fucking.
hold up.
They don't do.
Love you, fuck.
They will never put all the sauces on at once because there's so many different ones that clearly do not work well together.
Mm-hmm.
That's true. That's fair.
What if they're just really sad and they're like, he said everything.
And then I'll be like, listen,
What
if
does that
you've
mean?
broken
What
them?
does that
like,
mean?
first of all, bud, you put mustard, mayonnaise, ketchup, like spicy sauce, some blue cheese ranch dressing on there, and like barbecue sauce. Are you serious right now?
What if they're just really sad?
They're just really sad.
What if you're broken?
Like,
Like,
I just asked for mustard and mayonnaise. That was it. Thank you.
that's great.
So back to the topic. I'm gonna go with
Taco Del Mar.
Taco Time has gotta go because
Really?
I don't really go there.
Yeah, I don't go there that often either.
I
but
didn't ask you that. I mean, the food.
The Mexi fries, though.
I mean, if I don't go there, I won't mind if it's gone.
That's
Fair. I enjoy them solely for the Mexi fries.
They're tater tots.
They're tater tots.
Yeah.
That like annoys me whenever anyone like says that that's like the main.
Look,
thing
they're
about
really
it.
good.
It is
though.
the main thing about it.
They're
You can't
good.
get
I mean, it is like the.
You can't get tater tots anywhere else.
Yeah, you can't necessarily get tater tots just anywhere, but like, I mean,
Dude, and their
call
s-
them tater tots.
and their sauce.
They're not Mexi. There's nothing Mexican about them,
Well,
and you can say that about anything on the Taco Bell menu. but
That's true. I mean,
if you go to a taco truck, they don't
I-
put cheese on it.
I can also tell you if you go to the taco truck, they're not going to make you a fucking taco shot or Doritos.
but they should.
You can bet that.
Because honestly, it's kind of good.
I think
That's
that,
fine. It's whatever.
I was about
It's
to say
stoner
something,
stoner culture.
Inappropriate.
Okay.
Should we do? No, just we're going past it.
Okay.
Should
you
we
sure?
do Subway versus
Jimmy John's?
two others, Jimmy John's, and then
What, like Quiznos?
I mean, none of us go to
Never
Quiznos.
been to Quiznos in
how
my
about Jersey
life.
Mike's? Do we go
Never
there?
been
Never
to
been
Jersey
in-
Mike's.
Is there another sandwich?
I mean, I can tell you right now, whatever we're doing, Subway's the worst.
What if we do KFC, Azel's Chicken,
That's definitely only Seattle, but
and
That's fine.
and another chicken place that definitely we
Popeyes.
Popeyes.
I don't go there. I've never been there.
No,
Azel's Chicken.
no. Let's do some hard hitting ones.
Azel's Chicken is the answer.
I
It's
just
gotta
want to
go.
say Azel's
Let's
Chicken
not-
is gone.
let's
Azel's
not
Chicken
be
is shit.
weak.
If you ever come to Washington, specifically Seattle, don't go to Azel's Chicken. Just go to
No,
KFC. It's
fuck
better
off.
and cheaper.
You've eliminated an entire
Fuck off.
demographic. I'm not going to say what that demographic is.
But it's clear.
That's racist.
Let's do something a little hard hitting here, shall we?
Okay. Harder hitting than KFC versus Azel's
Yep.
Chicken?
Sony, Microsoft,
Nintendo's
PlayStation.
got to go.
And really?
Yeah.
No.
Sorry. That's my opinion.
How about this? How about
That's
this?
hard.
Well, this is probably a lot easier. Xbox One, PlayStation
That's not
4,
fair.
Switch, and PC.
Yeah, I mean, Xbox gotta go.
Switch has got to go.
Switch has gotta go. It's nothing new. As far as Nintendo, PlayStation, Xbox, right now, Microsoft's gotta go.
Yeah.
I mean, right now, but when I think back on my last, like, 10 years of life, almost all that has been consumed by Xbox. And
I'm not gonna say almost all of that.
I mean, now it's been a shift for me.
I mean,
now
you can't say
to
that.
PlayStation.
The 360 was
but
far and away.
yeah, I
the clear
bought my
winner.
Wii U, played it for maybe a month, and just put it down, and it collected dust for the rest of its lifetime. And I played my 360 nonstop. Even now, I like my Switch. I much prefer the memories I've had with Xbox generation stuff than anything with Nintendo.
Yeah. I mean, Xbox 360 was huge, obviously, but
It was ginormous.
for me, it didn't encompass as much time as the others. Because I had a PS2 for a really long time, and then I had a Xbox 360, and then I had I had the Wii, and anyways, I had the PS4. The PS4, I feel like, is a really big part of my life right now,
Yeah.
and then PS2 was a really big part of my life then. So I feel like PlayStation has been overall the most.
Yeah,
Right now, I mean, Sony's killing it.
yeah.
And I mean, I was like a diehard PlayStation 2 fan. Got it day one, played it pretty much until they stopped releasing games for it, like 2000, 5, 6, something like that. I forget. I think Final Fantasy 12 was one of the last games on there, and then probably Persona 4, which I wasn't really even into. But then when I got my 360, I never really played my PS2 again that much.
Yeah.
But man, played a lot of PS2.
All right, Nintendo it is. We're all unanimous. All right.
I guess. I mean, I hate to
it's
say
Microsoft
that.
for me.
I don't know. I have a lot
That's
of good
fair.
memories. I never really played N64 as a kid, so
I mean,
I can't really say much about
I did,
that.
and I still even that. I mean,
I really love my GameCube. I played a lot of DS. DS is pretty big for me.
but I mean, the memories that I had with Halo,
Yeah,
I'll keep those.
yeah, that's fair.
I smacked the
Don't
table.
fucking
I'm
touch-
sorry.
Coulter, do not touch the table.
We barely heard that, but you guys heard that loud as a bull in a china shop.
All
right,
right,
well-
any other hard hitters?
No, that was the
Think off
last
top of your
one.
head?
I can't really think of
Kermit.
the
could
console race is a big one.
We could do a part 2 of this whole thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So let's get some custom ones in here.
Yeah, let's think about some fun ones. Maybe next week, boys.
Sure.
Funko,
I feel like
Funko's got to go.
Funko's gotta go.
I feel like we've
No,
sucked,
I like Funko.
we've sucked this topic dry.
Oh.
Just like the vampires
Oh,
in this
damn.
week's film.
That's a segue.
Woo! So every week we take a random film out of a bag. It's not a hat. It's a bag.
I don't know why you keep saying that, because whoever purported it to be a hat,
Because I feel like when people the
Well,
classic phrase is we're gonna pull it out of a hat.
or draw it out of a hat.
We're better than that.
Yeah.
We're gonna pull it out of a bag.
Yeah, we're better than that. We use a bag.
Actually, I
better
do.
than that.
I do kind of think it'd be cool to get a Willy Wonka looking ass hat like they wore in this film.
Like, yeah, dude.
Like you do. So basically, we have a wacky film list of around 40 movies now, probably,
Same.
right? 45, something like that.
Yeah, I think-
Lower. Of randomly picked in genres. Everything in there is just completely random. So every week.
I mean, it's not randomly picked movies.
not
It's movies
random,
everyone
but it's
has seen.
anything from a Serbian film or The Raid to a Disney Channel original movie.
There's a large
So-
genre of movies in there.
Yeah, so you never really know what it's going to be. So every week we pull a random one out of this bag and we watch it. And last week we pulled Interview with the Vampire Chronicles.
Thank you.
What did we think?
Well,
Did you say this was based on a book?
It is based on a book series by Anne Rice
yeah.
called The Vampire Chronicles.
Okay.
I believe the first one is called Interview with the Vampire. There's also Queen of the Damned, which they made a movie of that you guys have probably heard of.
No.
They all kind of revolve. I think one of the main characters is Lestat. He's in all the books, but it spans generations. And,
Right.
Yeah.
I was the person who recommended this movie. I put
true.
this on the list because I had seen it before. Granted, it was on television, so it was a little chopped up here and there. Didn't get to see all of it, but what I did remember seeing of it, I liked. So I thought it would be a fun little, different movie than we've kind of seen. So I'm interested to hear
different.
what
It's
you
very
guys
different.
think of it first before I.
Should we set it up?
Yes.
So basically, the movie starts out in
This movie is about Tom Cruise.
It's supposed to be present day, I'm assuming.
Yeah.
This movie was made in '94. So present day, there's a Brad Pitt, weird ass looking man who is, as we come to find out, a vampire, being interviewed by like a journalist.
I thought you were listing the people: Brad Pitt and a weird ass looking man. I was like, the
Oh,
guy
no,
looks
no, no.
completely.
He's
normal.
Christian
yeah,
Slater.
the Christian Slater is a completely normal looking dude.
Yeah.
No, so he's Brad Pitt is the vampire. He's being interviewed by Christian Slater, like a journalist or something, and he's talking about how he became a vampire and how he's lived for like 200 years.
Yeah. Basically, just his life.
Yeah,
story.
basically his life story, like how he became a vampire, like, and then how he came to be where he is now. So it starts in 1791, and follows young Brad Pitt and Tom Cruise and a bunch of other A-list actors through their vampire adventures.
Mostly, at least the first half of the movie is mostly Brad Pitt. And
It's
Tom
pretty
Cruise.
much exclusive, yeah. And then I feel like at almost exactly like halfway through the movie, it switches a lot.
Mhm.
So
I mean, they.
we can dive into,
Yeah, you guys should have watched it already.
and if you haven't,
do it before we start talking. Right
yeah,
now.
if you haven't, if you were planning on watching this movie at some point, we're gonna spoil it.
Yeah, but yeah, so basically, like, there are like there's like 3 acts in this movie, and like when it's just Brad Pitt and Tom Cruise, and then young Kirsten Dunst is introduced, who I thought was actually
Claudia.
yes, Claudia.
She's
interesting
she's
character,
probably my favorite character.
and then the third act takes place in Paris, which is where the finale happens, and yeah, I feel like they're all very different, like, tones too in each
They are.
segment,
Yeah,
but.
I didn't expect it to feel like a 3-act format.
Yeah.
I thought like when at the beginning I thought it was gonna be like, oh, we're in for this ride with like Lestat and Lewis and then Claudia was introduced. And I was like, okay, so she'll be like another variable. But I thought it was just gonna be that in the entire movie. And then it completely changes when
Yeah.
they quote unquote kill Lestat, and you're like, oh, okay, so they're done with that. They're going on their own little thing. But then, and it does feel completely different. But then it kind of all wraps around at the end. So, it was unexpected. I didn't expect them to do that, which was cool.
What were your general thoughts going into the movie?
I had heard a lot of people recommend the book series. The only people I really knew who had seen it were my mom and dad, and then you, I guess. But my mom like walked out of the movie, and this was in the 90s when it came out. But she said it was quote unquote disgusting, and it was.
I can see why someone
Like-
might be. I mean, now I feel like it's not nearly as gratuitous as anything we really see today.
It's
so-
not, but like,
though it is still like
imagine watching this in the 90s. This is pretty like some hardcore stuff in here.
Yeah.
Like
Within the
there's-
context of the movie, it goes really far.
yeah,
It does. I appreciated it so overall, I really liked it. I appreciate how it wasn't a very. I want to say it wasn't a very like fantastical movie because it was somewhat grounded. Like obviously there's parts where like he's like flying and like crazy stuff like that is happening, but there was never a part where he grew like bat wings and he was like,
No.
"Oh, I'm going to like go to my castle and fly away." It was
Yeah.
kind of like a more grounded look at like, yeah, they get hungry, so they have to kill people, like, and like the whole morality aspect of how what's his name?
Luis
Yeah, I know, but Antonio Banderas' character
Oh.
on
on
Manuel. I don't know.
Manuel. No, it's something with an A. I forget his name, but anyway, he says something about
Manuel.
Lewis being a vampire with a mortal soul, and so there's that whole thing where he has like moral dilemma of like, oh, I'm really hungry and like I want to like, suck some blood, but I don't want to kill this person for it.
Yeah.
And there's like, I really like that aspect of it because it wasn't just like he turns into a vampire and then he's wearing like a dark cape and like being evil and like just being a vampire for the sake of it. It's like he actually struggles with whether or not this is like okay and chill to do.
When I saw this movie when I did, which was, I think it had to have been like 5+ years ago at this point, but I remember watching it, and even now, even more so, just like feeling that this take on like a vampire is somewhat refreshing compared to just like the ridiculous stuff we see, and especially after something like Twilight comes out. Like, Twilight was still hot when I saw this movie. I was like, oh, this is like, I like this way more because like it's not like the underworld version of vampires where they're just like these grotesque just demon spawn monsters. Like they still like they're very like classic vampires, which means like it's very like romantic and like romance, and like they're super
so
like,
different
and they're classy.
Yeah. I mean, that's similar to Twilight, but Twilight plays it as like, look at these hot teen hunks, whereas like I felt like in this movie it's way more like sophisticated.
Yeah,
they're much more regal than Twilight, whatever happens in there.
Well, there's also elements of Twilight where like I feel like the whole genre of in this, you could say this about zombies, you could say about like Godzilla, King Kong, like whatever it is, like they've taken it so far away from its roots that now it's just almost completely unrecognizable, and the only thing that like connects it is the fact that they like draw blood, or the fact that they like whatever it is, the fact that they are shambling zombies or whatever, like just you can just staple that onto something and be like, oh, this is a zombie movie or this is a vampire movie. With Twilight, it's like they sparkle in the sun, and they have like there's like a whole like war between the werewolves, and like they can run super fast and they have superhuman strength and stuff, and they allude to that in here. And there's like mention is like, oh yeah, you know, the dark gift that people get like gives like the dark gift is different for everyone, and so Lestat can like read minds and things like that. So it kind of alludes to like some cool lore elements where they take it pretty seriously. It's like there's an underground sect of vampires, like they have
an underground
like
theater troupe of vampires,
right? Yeah, and then there's just elements of it where it's still ridiculous because they're sucking people's blood and doing crazy shit like that, but it's not so ridiculous to the point where you're like, oh, this is like a cartoon, like this guy has a bat wing or something. Like,
even like the silliest parts are done in ways that are like semi like grim and creepy, like the theater part where they're having like a play, and like there's like a joke where they kick some guy down a well, and then he comes back and he's like going to heaven or whatever, as like he's dead. He's like flying up, which clearly he can only do because he's a vampire. Yeah. But they're playing it as like, whoa, look how he's flying in the air.
It's a theater trick.
Yeah. But then like everyone's just like, wow, that's really amazing. But
he's actually just
a vampire, and you guys are being played for fools.
Yeah.
I actually didn't even notice that. I didn't even think about that.
Yeah, like there's just elements of it where the movie it's almost aware of the fact that these powers that they have could be goofy and strange, but they don't really dwell on it too much.
They're never like the star of the show. Like it's not like they're all like super powered. Like
right.
Very briefly, the movie has like very brief action scenes, and a lot of them are just like very like close quarters, just intimate stuff. Like they're not like throwing people through buildings and like ridiculous shit.
Yeah, and I kind of liked how the focus was more on like how they live, really, like how they operate in their daily lives and how they do all these things as like an inhuman creature, but they still have human qualities where they're like like especially Lewis is constantly questioning whether or not like he should really be killing these people, or like if what he did to Claudia was right or wrong and things like that. Like it was cool.
How'd you feel, Coulter?
So I'm very detached from vampires because I've never seen anything with vampires that has interested me. I just don't. Frankly, I don't care about vampires.
You know what you're gonna say?
Even after Twilight came out.
I'm gonna say it. Even after Twilight came out, I somehow held out.
Against all odds.
Yeah, I don't know. That just doesn't interest me. But I think that this was a really well-made movie. And it's kind of like a classic-ish looking movie, like a Spielbergian almost type of vampire movie. If Spielberg made a vampire movie.
Spielberg made Twilight.
Yeah, kind of.
It's a seminal classic.
There's still some like weird stuff, like Kirsten Dunst kind of seems like she like has a weird like she's both a daughter and like a kind of a lover, but not like actually in a sexual way. Yeah. There's almost no actual sexual stuff in this movie, but there's so much like tension.
There's so much sexual tension, especially between like the male vampires. especially between Brad Pitt and Tom Cruise.
There's a lot of sexual tension in this entire movie, which
everyone.
is like funny and like interesting to see. Like it just makes it a little bit different because like again in Twilight, there's sexual tension, but like they're just like, oh, look at this hot dude with his shirt off, and
they're like, oh, but he's a werewolf. I can't associate with him.
And like that's played in such like a teen like just cringy way, whereas this is just like it's way more like
it's pretty mature,
thought provoking than like and interesting than what's happening like in a normal vampire thing that you would see.
Mm-hmm. That's true,
which I appreciated.
I definitely just like analyzed more of like the shallow elements of the film rather than like the actual story because I wasn't necessarily like super into it.
Yeah, the story I feel like does drag on at points. It kind of like has its lulls and then kind of heats up a little bit. But
it has its lulls.
It has its lulls. It's got some laughs in there.
I feel like after I kind of thought about how this is a book, I definitely understood more. If this was just like a for movie situation, I would be like, okay, they overwrote the frick out of this.
Yeah.
Like, this is insanely convoluted.
The books are definitely like because it says Interview with the Vampire Chronicles. I feel like this is similar to what they've done with, and I haven't seen this yet, but apparently with The Dark Tower, the movie that just came out, they took, because The Dark Tower is a book series by Stephen King, they apparently took a bunch of elements and plot points from like, because there's like 7 books, I think 6 or 7 books, and they just took random like not random, but they took plot elements from everything, and they had like apparently they had like a villain or some sort of like event or something that happens in like the last book, but then they like the main plot is like based on like the first or second or something weird like that.
I mean, they try to condense 13 books down into like a 90-minute movie, which is impossible.
Exactly. So I feel like this would be, and I haven't read these books, so I can't say for sure, but I feel like part of this might be because it would be almost like them taking like the first 4 books of Harry Potter or something like that and being like, well, we're just gonna make like a 2-hour movie with it and just throw everything in there. So, you know, that's just complete, like, I'm just guessing on that one. But
I mean, I'm pretty sure this is like compared to this is from the first book.
Is it the first book?
I think there's only 4 books, and I don't think
there's Queen of the Damned, and then there's 2 other ones. There's like Lestat something, and then like
I'm pretty sure this is just follows like, the
I would be curious.
Plot line of the first one.
Yeah, I'd be curious to know because I feel like these books are well regarded as like literary classics, but I'm sure they're pretty dense because it's on the same scale as like, you know, like not Game of Thrones, maybe like Wheel of Time or like one of those where it's like a pretty like heavy.
I mean, I haven't read any of them, so I don't know, but
from what I've heard, they're pretty in depth. So.
Yeah, I thought there were moments of like actual tension that worked really well. The use of music was really good.
The music was great.
And yeah, I thought they actually did like their tensious. What is the real word? Tense. God damn it. Yeah, the tense moments were actually done well enough so that I was like, even not really caring that much about how the plot was going to go, I was still like, okay, like they're making me care.
It's well acted. I feel like I feel like Brad Pitt is like the weakest character, like actor in that movie. Like he's very not emotional at all. And maybe that's part of
his character.
Maybe that's how it's written. I don't know. But like compared to like even Tom Cruise, who's just like, oh, Tom Cruise is playing a vampire. Like it seems ridiculous, but like I really liked Lestat as a character. He's really just like kind of like darkly funny and very evil.
He's super evil.
And also Kirsten Dunst, who is like 12 in that movie and like has some really like great scenes. Like I think one of the last scenes she has with Lestat is really good, where she's like arguing with him, and that was fun.
The part where she kisses Spider-Man upside down.
Oh no, that was not the part where they kiss. That part's not that doesn't happen in Coulter. There's no
Spider-Man upside down.
Oh yeah.
No, so like there's some pretty good scenes in there where there's that one where she's asking Lewis to turn that woman into a vampire.
Yeah.
And he's like, no, I can't do this. And like that got really intense. Like the acting was pretty good there. She's, for how young she is, like pretty on point.
There was a part where she's like going over to him and like hugging him, and he's like just he has a look on his face that actually made me laugh. Like he was like,
where he's just like
yeah,
just like looking off into space.
He does
like,
have some
almost
weird
crying,
facial
and I was like,
expressions.
this is too funny for me not to laugh at it.
I thought all the scenes with Claudia were pretty good.
Yeah, I think she's one of the best characters in that movie.
Because I like how they introduce her as, like, Lestat's not really. They mention it's like he thought of her as a pupil or whatever, but she just inherently like kind of just wants to kill people.
Yeah.
Like she's really kind of evil and like mischievous, but then you realize that she kind of feels like that's all she has at that point because she's a vampire, and she's like, well, what if I want to be like a little girl, or what if I want to grow up or whatever? And it's like, well, you can't do that anymore.
Yeah.
Like
I feel like
this is what you are. You're gonna have to just.
I feel like that part of her character is like really well done. Of like her like actually feeling like anguish about never being able to like be an adult.
Yeah.
Like, oh, I'm gonna be stuck as a child for eternity.
Yeah, and that's the kind of thing that you would never see. That's why I like this, because you would never see another vampire movie tackle something like that.
Yeah.
Like they might allude to it being like, well, now I'm gonna be a kid forever. Darn it! Like I guess I'll just suck blood and do all that weird stuff. But this is just her like actually being like depressed and like sad about it.
Yeah. I also thought the movie has some like really cool like just shots of like there's a lot of shots of people just walking down like
Cobblestone streets,
roads, and just like dimly lit like lantern lit streets and stuff, and it looks very like the gothic like look to it is really cool.
The sets were insane.
Yeah.
Yeah, the
Very,
production
very
the
good.
production values were super high, and I thought the costume design was pretty good. I read something about when they did makeup on the actors, they like actually had them hang upside down for a few minutes to get like their faces. Like they did some like crazy shit. Apparently Brad Pitt like wanted to quit production on the movie.
Yeah, I read a quote.
Always a good
with
sign.
Brad Pitt saying that like him filming this movie was miserable.
Yeah, he said he
Great.
literally called his agent and he was like, what do I do? Like, you need to like get me out of here. And then they were like, well, you only have like 2 weeks left or whatever. You're going to get like,
They were like, I'll give you a cookie if you go through
yeah,
the whole thing.
I'll give you a box of Buncher Cruncher. You can only get at the movie theater. I'm going to get
Correct.
it for you.
But
Yeah, no, like, apparently he was just completely miserable while filming this. And there's a lot of other weird stuff that went along with this movie, but I liked it.
Yeah,
was good.
I'm glad that I remember that movie being good, and when I watched it again, I still enjoyed it. So
It was very different than any other movie we've watched.
Yeah. This is kind of similar to because it's a period piece, obviously, so it is similar to, I'm trying to think of like a Jane Austen, like Pride and Prejudice type vibe, but with vampires.
Yeah.
So if that interests you, then
the
it'll probably interest you.
it's very like story and dialogue heavy. Like not a whole lot of action is really happening. Like it's very slow building for a lot of the times, but I enjoy like Lestat and Luis's like talking with each other. They have like some good just like banter, and I just think their relationship is interesting.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and just the where that story goes, I think is interesting. All the characters develop in cool ways.
It kept me interested, if only to see, like,
I mean, I just wanted to see what happens.
yeah,
Like,
I wanted to
is,
see
like,
what was going to happen. I also wanted to see how it was going to affect the characters, because they always had really interesting things to say to one another about what's happening, and it was all reasonable things. Like something crazy would happen to one of them, and then they would discuss like the ramifications of that, but it wasn't like a goofy, like, you know, Hollywood style like blockbuster. It was like I thought it was pretty thought provoking and well written, even though at times it did feel like it was. I don't know if because Anne Rice, the author of the book, she did the screenplay, so I don't know if she probably did take lines directly from the book, especially like the narration of Lewis like talking about them going to like the different cities and stuff. Like they probably took that right from the book, but there were times where it felt like the dialogue probably would have felt better in, like, I think you mentioned it might have been better if it was a play.
Yeah.
Or like
The
in the
way
book
they talk,
itself,
like,
like it's pretty like
Yeah, like a lot of like the dialogue is
pretty
like stiff because
flamboyant,
they're
like-
like they're trying to
I'll
like
say it, pretentious.
talk with accents
Kind of,
and
yeah.
like speaking in, you know, like as if they were in
saying, like,
1791. Like
for will thou not,
Yeah.
blah blah blah, like all that stuff, and you're like,
There wasn't a ton of
you
like
could've-"
old English.
yeah,
but
like it's
Not
not
really,
ridiculous, but I do like it is kind of a little overbearing at some points.
Yeah.
At some points, and I just feel like some of that might have been. I'd be curious to see. I don't want them to do a remake of this.
They are.
Let me say that right now. They probably will at some point, but I'd be interested to see where it would go if it was handled by, like,
Joss Whedon.
I don't know, maybe like
Michael
a horror
Bay.
director, maybe like James Wan, or like,
Oh God.
I don't
I
know.
think nowadays they
I
would
don't know.
put so much CG into this. They'd make them fly around. It would be
Yeah.
like a Dracula Untold or whatever. Like I don't know if
Or
this
maybe
movie
like
can be done.
thinking, I don't know, like a Thinking Man's director or someone like,
Yeah.
not like a
It
Michael
could be
Bay
done
or
correctly,
like
but there's too many traps.
that's true. Yeah, I don't know. There's something about this that felt like it was translated maybe too literally from the book, for better or worse. I feel some of it carried over well, but
When
You
did you
need to
guys
dumb it down.
think of the ending?
It kind of. I was gonna say like this just killed the whole movie,
I
but I don't think that it actually did.
It was too abrupt for me.
Yeah, it was weird.
It was really abrupt. Like I feel like it would have been cool. Well, I don't know. I was almost hoping that while, because what I thought was gonna happen was when Brad Pitt like goes in on him, and in the also one thing I wanted to say really quickly before I mention anything about that, in the beginning there was a line I really liked where Brad Pitt was being all mysterious and the guy was like, he said like, oh, I'm a vampire, and he's like, oh, you're a vampire, oh, okay, that's cool. And then when he says, so is this your house, like, why do you bring me here? And he's like, no, it's just a room.
Yeah.
And like when he said
I don't
that, I was
remember that line.
when he said that, that's really stuck with me, because he was like,
just
is
a
this your
room.
house, like, is this like, why do you bring me here, where are we, like, what is this? And he's like, oh, it's just a room.
Maybe
Like,
that's
what does
because he
that
doesn't
mean?
have a
Like,
house because he's lived for centuries.
yeah, and so it just like the way he said that was as if it was like he's lived for so long that like it's just wherever they are is just meaningless. He's like, oh, it doesn't matter if it's my fucking house. Like this is just a this is just a room we're in. So I thought that was kind of dark and like disturbing almost. But what I thought was gonna happen at the end was when he went on him and like flew him up to the ceiling. He's like, you see this? Like I'm a vampire. And then Christian Slater falls down and Brad Pitt's gone, and then he runs out of the apartment. I thought what was going to happen is that maybe like when he gets in his car and he starts driving away on the bridge, that like he was going to realize that he was bitten or something, and like look down and see that like Brad Pitt had bitten him or something like that, and then he was going to be like, oh shit, and then you see him turning into a vampire, and like that he's going to go off and do that. But then they kind of did that, but with Lestat there, and that it's going to not turn out very well for him. He does say something interesting. He's like, I don't even know if Christian Slater says anything, but then Lestat is like, oh yeah, like I'm gonna give you the choice that I didn't have or something. So
Yeah,
Which is the line that he said to Luis at the beginning as well.
Yeah. So is that just implying that he's gonna be
the original VP vampire?
he's the OV.
Nice.
Is that just implying that he's gonna be like the next Luis or Lewis?
I mean, possibly.
Like
you
he's
can
gonna
read
be
the books to
he's
find
gonna be
out.
like
Then
the next like
Samurai.
Lestat apprentice.
Yeah, I just thought that was like honestly, I wanted to bring this up in the movie, but I didn't because it was still running. But not the actual end scene, although this ties into it, but the scene where he goes back, where Luis goes back into the mansion that they used to live in or whatever, and he sees Lestat there, just like crippled and inside the chair, like in this very just decrepit house. Like I saw it and I was getting flashbacks of the Castlevania Lords of Shadow game, because at the end of that, in Castlevania normally you fight Dracula. That's the main point of Castlevania is vampires and Dracula. In Lords of Shadow, the final boss is Satan, which is like a ridiculous like turn for the game, and it's just like, and I think it upset a lot of people because they're like, well, I wanted to fight Dracula. Like,
But doesn't it turn out at the end that you are Dracula?
Oh, you just want to spoil the entire game?
I mean, we're already there.
But yes, at the end of the game, like the post-credit scene in that is very similar to the one where like what happens in the movie, in that some guy is like walking to a decrepit house and just sees like some guy just sitting there in a chair, just like in modern times, and he's just like, who are you? He's like, oh, I'm Dracula or whatever. And it's a really cool looking scene, but that's what it reminded me of, because it's the same like framed shot. It's really cool, and I just like the idea of like the vampire just like coming back and just driving off into modern times and living.
There was something cool about that, because he's like wearing some like,
he's wearing the same clothes he was wearing.
Yeah,
in
he's
1790.
wearing, because that's what was kind of funny, because he like when he starts driving the car, you see him like put his like fucking weird ass like dirty hands on the steering wheel, and then he pulls up like his shirt, and it's all like the and you're like, okay, well, he's just like literally looks like he just came from like a Renaissance fair, but he's just driving like his convertible down like the Golden Gate Bridge. Like, I don't know, there's something funny about that. Just playing, it's a fitting music, Sympathy for the Devil. It's not by Rolling Stones, which I was upset about, but
It was a cover.
GNR.
it was bullshit. That's what it was.
Whoa.
Savage.
No, but I like the song choice.
I thought that the whole thing should have been involved with the interviewer in some way. Instead, the interviewer had nothing to do with anything.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. Like, again, maybe he does later on. This is not the end of the series. It's the end of this movie, but, you know.
I mean, that's like saying the Star Wars movies, oh, well, in the books, like, Chewie does this after all that.
No, because they're not based on books.
Yeah. But, I mean, as far as I'm concerned, the movie is all there is.
But that's just...
I'm just saying
that's not true.
I mean, I get it. I would like to see what happens as well, but, I mean, that's just...
I'm just saying, within the context of the movie, I wish that it was a more complete thing. Because the whole thing revolves around this framework of the interview, and then the interview doesn't matter at all. I feel like that's textbook, like, bad choices in filmmaking. But that's pretty harsh.
I don't know. I mean, the way I see it is, like, that is just a medium to tell a story. Like,
I feel like there's something...
The way the story is told is irrelevant, but it's just being told that way because, again, maybe at some point they thought they were going to make more movies. And so they have to leave some sort of, like, cliffhanger there. But, again, no more movies were made, so they...
Were you saying that it's, like, a cheap or, like, a bad decision because it's an easy way to tell a story that just through, like, an interview rather than having the interview actually...
Yeah. I mean, you shouldn't have anything, like, in your movie that doesn't... that
doesn't serve a purpose? Or
yeah.
Because I feel like it kind of does, though, because, like... One argument against that is that people are like, well... If you know that he's doing an interview at the end, then there's no tension about him living or dying, which is fair. But then I also kind of like that as you're listening to him tell this story in modern day in like an apartment in San Francisco or whatever to this random journalist guy, and you're like, well, why is he telling this guy this story? Which you don't really ever know for sure. But then...
And in fact, it doesn't matter at all at the end.
I mean, he kind of hints at the end. He's like, listen, like, he's like... Because at the end of the movie, Christian Slater's like, please turn me into a vampire. Like, I need to become a vampire. And he's just like, I failed. Like, you didn't understand, like, my story.
Yeah.
Like, clearly he's wanting people to, like, don't do this.
Yeah. Yeah. But, like, I think it does kind of pull into it because as you're listening to him tell the story, you're like, okay, well, why is he telling the story to a journalist in an apartment in San Francisco? How did he end up here? And they kind of do explain that with him, like, starting in where was it in the beginning? Was it New Orleans?
I think they go to New Orleans, but they're somewhere in like early America.
Okay, yeah. So they start off somewhere and all that, and then they progress through like the United States, going wherever, and then to Paris and all that. But then at the very end, after he leaves the mansion after seeing Lestat, he's like, oh yeah, and like I went to New Orleans and I saw like the machine that showed me like the sunset or the sunrise or whatever. Yeah, the old talkies, and like. He's like, oh yeah, and then they show like the scene from Superman and like all that kind of stuff where they go through like as time progressed. So they kind of show like it almost kind of pulls into that literally where it shows him going through time like to modern day, and then they don't like literally show him like meeting Christian Slater and being like, oh, I'm gonna tell you my story. But they kind of show him progressing through the ages to modern day.
I do get what you're saying, Coulter, because, again, ultimately at the end, nothing comes of that story. Or at least not that we know of.
No, I get that. I just mean, like, it's not entirely useless.
No, I mean...
If that part wasn't even in the movie, it wouldn't have mattered.
Well, but I mean, but then the movie is framed differently, because then
that's
it's just
what I mean,
like...
Yeah.
Then it's not him telling a story, and, like, again, that part ultimately is irrelevant.
It doesn't even matter if he's, like, telling
still,
but the story
he could
is
still
important.
narrate
the story is important because it shows how he was viewing those events.
He could still narrate it. He can still be the narrator of the whole story.
I mean, he
doesn't have to be talking to someone in the real world.
It doesn't have the same impact when he's talking to someone else.
I think it's it's narratively more interesting to have the narrator be a real thing that's happening, other than just than him just narrating as a like all-seeing narrator that is for some reason telling the story. Like, why is he telling this story? The reason he's telling this story is because he's giving an interview to someone. Like, if there's no interviewer there and he's just narrating because it's a book, like, then like that's less of a, I don't know. It's less of a like a narrative draw, I feel like.
I guess you could compare it to like The Princess Bride, where the whole story is like told to that kid, right? And it's like, does it matter in that circumstance either? And
maybe yes, maybe no, but like it's just it's an
opinion
choice. Like,
again,
I get it.
I was gonna say maybe you guys can relate to this watching. When you're watching a movie, sometimes you need to turn up and down the volume because the loud parts are incredibly loud and the quiet parts are incredibly quiet. Possibly no other movie has been as extreme as this one. It'll go from the loudest like jump scare of all time.
The music
there are
is
kind
very
of jump
loud, too.
scares in this movie.
Yeah.
And there'll be really loud music, really loud sound effects, and then it'll go to them talking to each other, and they're literally like, "What did you think about this?"
Yeah, that I definitely get that, and like for me, like I don't watch movies that much by myself anyways, and if I did, I would probably like be sitting at my computer with headphones on, which if you know that's how I watch a movie. So like if some parts are loud, some parts are quiet, I'm the only person hearing, so I don't need to worry about it being like ridiculously loud. But like I can like it was definitely an issue in this movie of like when it goes to an action scene, it's just like, oh, this is like way too loud, and then they're just like I don't know if they were trying to be like intimate when they're talking like very quietly and like close to each other, but like it does end up becoming very hard to hear, especially like at the end, like with Antonio Banderas, like fantastic actor. He does have a bit of an accent. It was even harder to hear him in this when he's like talking like at minimal volume.
We had a Christopher Nolan thing going on where they just didn't care if you could understand or not.
But
yeah, it was like I'm
Dunkirk
just
syndrome.
Interested to understand why like they chose to, because he clearly, or whatever the director is, Neil Jordan clearly directed them to talk in this way because they do it throughout the entire movie. So like someone told them to do that. And why is my question. So, yeah, that was just a silly thing. That
it was a little ridiculous.
Yeah.
All right, what do we give the movie?
I'm going to give this movie 7.
Do you have yours, Dane?
I'm going to give it a B minus.
Okay. Go ahead, Coulter.
That's not very high. It's fine.
What is a B minus? Like a 78?
I mean, depends on your region of the world, but here, yes.
I don't
Actually,
really.
I mean,
B minus.
It really is probably more of like 80. So.
Yeah, I feel like a B is probably like what 80, like 82
It's 80 to
to
90.
85 or something like that.
Well, I mean, it depends.
What's a B plus? 80 like
High
6
80s.
to not like.
It's like 88
88?
to 89.
Yeah,
Oh, okay. I'm gonna
Times have changed.
I don't know, man.
that's fine. It's your opinion.
I'm gonna go with a B. Yeah, B minus.
Okay.
I like doing Dane has letters, Jordan has numbers, and I don't have either because I think that I'm just gonna do the thing where I'm gonna say
No scale.
I recommend it to you if you enjoy vampires. You definitely need to see this. If you enjoy period pieces like older, Jane Austen type movies, I'm going to say you don't need to see it if you don't like those things, but it is a very well-made movie, so there is something to enjoy.
Yeah.
Yeah, if you're a fan of cinema, I feel like there's something here for you. There's great production values, great set design. The cinematography is pretty cool. There's, I say, for the most part, pretty good acting. The music is good. Like
Technically, it's a very good movie.
I enjoyed viewing it. Like I was pleased.
If you don't enjoy the story in it, you're not gonna like it. That's what this movie is about, is this story. If you don't get in on that at the start, you're probably not gonna like it that much.
Yeah.
I'm gonna give this movie 7 frilly cuffs out of 9.
What was that?
7 frilly cuffs.
Frilly cuffs. I was like,
Good
what
one.
is that?
It's a good one.
All right.
All right.
Well, stay tuned for the near the end of the cast where we reach into that big old bag and pull out another film to watch
not a hat.
next week. It's not a hat.
It's not a hat, despite what you may have heard.
Just because you think that people just pull shit out of hats all the time, no. Some people pull it out of bags still.
Pull this out of a hat. All right.
What do we got next? Video games. That's what we got next.
What about video games?
We play them sometimes.
We'll play 'em.
Against my will. Because I'm addicted.
I'd rather just color. Like
This is actually an intervention. We're all addicted to video games, and we need to come out about it.
I'd
guys,
rather draw with crayons.
guys, I brought you here today to tell you that we can't play video games anymore. What if someone told you that?
I would laugh in their face.
How much
because
money
who
would
has the
someone have
right-
to pay you?
Who's going to tell me that?
How much?
No.
How much money would someone have to pay you to never play video games again?
I would
Ever.
rather die.
I'd rather die.
If the option is you just don't get the money, I'd rather die.
Can you just put that on as the Twitter clip? Just like how much money would it take? I'd rather die.
I'd rather die.
But
I'd rather die than do anything. But
video games are an important facet of my life, and I don't think I would give them up.
I'd say
don't say something you won't regret, Coulter.
We have the money waiting.
Maybe I have the money to make this a reality.
I think if you gave me $50 million, I would never play it. That's a lot.
That's a lot. You could do a lot of stuff with
That's not
that.
that much money.
It's enough to set you up.
That's
for
more than
life.
enough money to survive forever, like a vampire.
1 billion. No.
$1 trillion.
Can we get into it, please?
Fine. Okay. So, what has everyone been playing?
Coulter?
What is everyone?
Start?
What has everyone been feeling?
So
Sick.
might as well get into the Overwatch stuff because
That's true.
That's pretty much what I played this week. The summer games are back in Overwatch. Boys, it's heating up.
It's
gonna be a hot summer today.
It's the first seasonal event that's repeated itself.
Get out your towels. Get out your Otter Pops.
We're in the second year of Overwatch now.
Yeah.
Officially,
Which is interesting.
in terms of events. Yeah.
And I basically just got it for PC, so I'm kind of rebirthing the whole Overwatch thing.
Yep. You've been reborn.
I've been Dracula Untold. Yeah, so I've
Terrible.
been Dracula Reborn. That's one also. That was what I was
God damn
thinking
it.
of.
I've been Nosferatu.
You've been Dracula Untold.
I should have said Dracula Reborn. Yeah, so I've been playing that.
Hilarious.
I was having fun, and then I wasn't because people were really good, and they started kind of destroying me, and I was playing solo queues. Thank you very much, both of y'all. And
What does that mean?
Sorry.
what? What do you think it means?
Look, I worked late. All right.
I mean, you said you would get on after you.
I did, but then I
And then you
passed
didn't?
out.
Well, yeah, sure. Just say things that you can't hold up to.
I mean, you didn't reply, Jordan.
I was asleep.
That was pretty early for you to be asleep.
I
I guess.
Listen,
I mean, that's fine.
it takes
Listen,
me
you
like
wake up at
fucking
3 a.m.
2 hours to get home. I'm already angry because it's hot as hell, and then I get inside my house, sit down on my computer for maybe an hour. I'm like, it's too goddamn hot to play any games right now, and then I just get mad and just. What I did was I went into my room, sat down, and played Zelda for 20 minutes. I was like, fuck, I'm going to sleep. And I went to bed.
Fair. Yeah, so I was playing it a little bit, got a couple loot boxes from the new Summer Games loot boxes, and I got the McCree skin, so that was pretty exciting.
That's not what I want.
Lifeguard
I mean,
McCree.
you want all of them.
Is he a lifeguard?
I
in
want
this?
most of them. I don't really care about I honestly don't care about the Reaper one that much.
That's
It
fine.
looks
That's
cool.
fine.
It looks cool. I don't dislike it. I
I
just
probably
don't care about
won't
that much.
wear that one outside of the event, honestly.
Yeah, that's the
because
thing.
It looks a little too. One of the things I don't like about the costumes is when they're too. They look too specific to the event. A lot of the Halloween ones are too goofy. The Christmas ones for sure.
The Uprising ones were pretty dope in general.
Yes, because they're not related to
Yeah,
a specific holiday that we actually celebrate.
Yeah,
I mean,
but
the Chinese New Year.
Okay,
Wait,
the
was that
Mercy one. The
Uprising?
Mercy one is pretty
No,
cool
that's
in
different.
general. The Mercy
Yeah,
one is cool.
yes.
There are a few in this event.
These ones are better than last year for sure because
Yeah.
they're not
They're
they
not
don't look
they're
like Olympic.
She's wearing a track outfit.
Yeah, they don't look like Olympic uniforms. They're actually summer stuff, which is cool. But
Yeah, I was saying earlier at work, I was talking to someone that plays Overwatch also. I was saying that, if you compare this year's to last year's, it's an insane change because they went so much crazier this year. Last year is just they're basically wearing Olympic athlete uniforms. This year, okay, we got bikini, we got lifeguard.
Dad 76.
Yeah, we've
Socks
got
and
a version of Soldier 76 that is debatably trash.
Yeah.
No, I'm just kidding.
Get out.
I would actually like to get into that.
Yeah, we should get into that because here's the deal.
Fuck.
Overwatch is being run by its community.
I'm tilted.
Overwatch, I don't know if you guys have remembered me saying this, but before I've said Blizzard basically let the community write their game for them because they set up, they don't have a story. They set up the very basics of a world, and then the community has run rampant and just inflicted their own ideals into the game now. Mm-hmm. Why are you looking at that like it's wrong? It's completely
I'm not
correct.
saying it's wrong. I like that.
I mean, I like it when it's
fine.
good, but some of them are just I would like Blizzard to buckle down a little bit and come up with their own stuff. The Daddy 76 one is funny, but
I think
come
it's
on.
great.
It's funny, but
It's great.
What it is it's as if he was like a dad barbecuer, and he has like Kiss the Cook style like apron, and he has like a little charbroil like grill flame on his gun, and he's wearing like
socks and
silly
sandals.
sunglasses and socks and sandals.
Like it's so good. Like look,
what is good?
It's dumb.
Please explain how it's good.
It's hilarious because it's like this gruff, like they could very easily make, and honestly, when the game first came out, like Soldier 76 was really boring to me because he's just like the old dude, the old grizzled, like that. He's even kind of billed as like, hey, if you play Call of Duty, like you can play Soldier. He has a big gun and he shoots shit, and so he's like kind of the like, you know. You can kind of project yourself onto this guy and be like, okay, this is a weird ass game with a bunch of heroes who have weird ass abilities, but he just has a gun and he shoots stuff, and so like he's kind of boring in that way. When I first played the game, when I saw that the collector's edition was coming with the Soldier 76 statue instead of like Tracer or like Reaper or like Widowmaker or any of those like more iconic characters, like even Winston or something, I was like, well, that's kind of boring. Like it's just the Soldier character. I'm never gonna play him, and I was wrong because he's one of my favorite characters. But I think he's one of my favorite characters because he has more of a personality than, or you could say that through the community he has more of a personality than just the time to kill people with my gun, like old angry man kind of thing. Yeah. Like I like that he's become something a little ridiculous because it's way more exciting than him just being like a grizzled nothing. Yeah,
I think you're voicing a lot of the community's like feelings about Soldier 76, and I respect that.
I feel like I'm in a place here where I'm in the outlier of the Overwatch community where I don't care about the story of Overwatch at all. I don't watch the shorts. I don't watch the animated things. I don't care about any of that stuff. I just like to play the game and have my characters look cool in cool, silly outfits. Like I don't care about their ships off game, because none of that stuff is canon. Like none of that stuff is even in there.
It's not, but it's like it's all lighthearted. Like there's no reason. My point is there's no reason to be angry or even like talk about this in a negative way because it's not harmful to anyone in any way.
It's harmful to me because I think his outfit looks dumb. I want him to have a cool outfit.
He has a lot of cool outfits.
No, he doesn't. Dane, come on. You know he has the worst outfits in the game.
What are his other ones that he's gotten? He's gotten
basically nothing. He has gotten nothing except for he has the Strike Commander Morrison skin, which is the pre-order one.
Yeah.
And then he has that one that he got in Uprising, or an Anniversary, which isn't that great. It's like that cyborg looking one.
Oh, that's right. I mean, yeah, his skins aren't that great, but.
And now he gets Daddy 76, which is
what I'm looking for is a cool ass.
I want him to look cool.
I want him to look dope as hell.
His main outfit looks
actually
dope.
Cool.
But it's boring. Like I see that all the time. I want him to have a weird, like a cool outfit. Everyone else gets awesome, like unique things. He gets, I'm socks and sandals, dude, because the community said so.
That's the thing, is that it's time for something cool and like edgy and.
But what are they gonna do? Okay, so what would have been cooler to do for him for the
know.
Summer Games event than this?
Anything.
No, it's perfect because it kind of blends the whole like dad element where it's like, oh, he's the dad of the group, and like I guess Anna is like the mom of the group in a way, like the grandma in the group or whatever. Like they're both like the older, wiser, like kind of caretakers of everyone, and everyone else is kind of like either younger or like, you know, more spunky and like rambunctious and stuff. And so they're kind of like, they've seen shit. They're like, whatever, we're old, like we're just gonna take care of this. And like Anna has a bunch of. Get out of here.
You're losing me.
No, Anna has a bunch of the, like, grandma lines where she's like, oh, need someone to tuck you in and, like I'll protect you and all that stuff, where she's, like, a caretaker of these people. And then Soldier is kind of he kind of is, like, the dad of the group. Like, he's the oldest member. Why wouldn't he be portrayed
in the
as,
short,
like,
he was like a rogue, like on his own. He doesn't want anyone's help. He's like done with everything.
Yeah.
And now he's the dad of the group.
Wait till his next short where
no,
he's daddy.
They're
Wait till his next short where he's tucking Sombra in.
Yeah, he is a rogue and he's like kind of on his own, like operating for like in a good sense. He's kind of furthering Overwatch's values, but he's doing it for his own purposes or whatever. But I mean, at this point in the canon, if you're really talking canon, like Overwatch isn't even together anymore anyway. So,
if you're really talking about the canon, there's zero story in that game anyway. So why can't they just make him look like a badass?
Why do they have to though? Just because you want him to have a cool outfit?
Why does he have to be daddy? Why is it like why?
He doesn't. He doesn't. There's just nothing wrong with that.
Oh, okay. didn't say
we're
it was
voicing what
wrong.
we want.
I'm saying, why hasn't he?
I think this is exactly what I want.
Okay, well, you and the rest of Tumblr fucking Overwatch community can just go play your nacho Doritos and Mountain Dew
It's
Diva
great.
and just do dumb stuff. Meanwhile, I'm sitting here like,
It's hilarious.
listen, I would have been fine. Like, give Farrah something cool. She hasn't gotten anything. Like, she's gotten one cool new outfit. Like, I want to get a cool basketball outfit. Instead, she just gets a slam dunk emote. I just want to play basketball or something.
Yeah, they're all like silly. It's all cosmetic, so we all just kind of have like shallow opinions about what we want for the different things, and it's fine.
But they're all shallow in that sense anyway. Like Reaper wearing a fucking biker skin that says Edge on it, and he has like sport themed shotguns. Like
They're all shallow, but some are shallow based on community suggestions.
Yeah, to me, it's even less. And
again, Reaper is
even
based purely on that because they call him an edgelord.
To me, it's not about even what the costume is. I could care really less what the costume is. It's just that Blizzard has no indication that they want, like, they just let the community run wild and just do, like, whatever they say goes. And, like, I want them to
I don't think that's how it goes at all. They do that because they're not doing it because they have to. They're not doing it because, like, the community dictates Overwatch, and if we don't do it, they won't buy our microtransactions or anything. It's like they're doing it because the community has taken these characters in a direction that they enjoy, and then the developers like to acknowledge that by putting skins in there for, like, it's for fun. This is all for fun. This is just to get people back into playing Overwatch. There's no, like, they don't have to do this. Yeah. They don't have to do seasonal events and give us skins. Like,
I mean, yes, but like,
why can't they just have fun with it? I don't get it.
Because I want them to like they're appealing. Like, you're like, oh, like, look, they're appealing to like people. Like, well, they're not appealing to me. Like, why can't I have something cool? Like, you're saying like, oh, look, they're appealing to everyone. Look at, they're trying to get all these people back. Like, not me. Like,
no, I'm not saying they're doing this just because the player count. I'm saying that, like,
community.
Not necessarily. I mean, they've been doing like the Police Diva skin. They did the Oni Genji. They did the there was another one. They did like cool skins just randomly from Heroes. Granted, it was from Heroes of the Storm to get people to play Heroes of the Storm, but like they've done cool skins just that they came up with that they thought would be cool.
And I would
not
like
as
to see
many.
More of that. I think those are way better than the silly stuff they do.
I'm sure they'll do it. I mean, this is the same exact thing as when you would sign on to WoW, like in Christmas, you'd get like a fucking Santa hat and you would go like open up a gift under the tree and like bullshit. It's like, well, why is my Blood Elf Paladin opening a Christmas present under a fucking tree? Like, I want him to have a cool ass sword.
But that's not, the community didn't like have a fan like fiction that they were all going to celebrate Christmas. In Overwatch, literally they just created like that persona for Soldier 76 and there's like, yeah, I guess that's him now.
Yeah. So there's some separate issues here. One is that Jordan doesn't really like how they're like basically just doing whatever the community says, and then the other issue is that those things aren't the type of skins that he wants.
I get it.
And then that's basically all it is. It's just like,
I get it. I mean,
it's not going the way he wants, so he's complaining.
I know, and this is all opinion based on what we want. I'm just saying that, like, I don't think that they should be like reprimanded for it, or like, there's nothing negative about this, I don't think.
All right. So you think that it's cool that they just do what the community says?
I don't think they're doing what the community says. I think they're not like being like cuckolded by the community or anything. Yeah, they not.
Absolutely are.
No.
Dane, do you not remember the thing with May where they came out and like this happened in a like Chinese New Year update. She got an outfit that was like a classic Chinese outfit.
Yeah.
And it was like people looked at it and were like, oh, that is like making her like look like skinnier than I thought she was. And so many people got upset about this that Blizzard was just like, you're right. And then they just were like, yeah, we'll just like, we obviously messed up, so we're just going to change that. It's like,
that has nothing to do with them like bending over for the community. That's just like because maybe they realized that it was offensive or something. I don't know.
No, it's not. It's not because of offensive. It's because the community thought she would be bigger than that. And so they switched it because the community was upset by how not thick she was, even though we have no reason to think that she's like a certain like size.
Yeah, I mean,
so basically they cried about it and then they fixed it.
Yeah, I mean that whatever. I don't know. I don't care. Yeah, I don't care about that much. I don't
want to go too deep into that because that could get rough.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't think they're doing it because they have to. I think they're doing it because this is just supposed to be for fun. Like, does anyone really care that much about these skins? Like, they're fun.
I mean,
like,
they cried about it and then they changed it, so
yeah,
they clearly care.
I don't know. From my point of view, the Jedi are evil. No, I think it just from these events, it's purely cosmetic. It's purely for fun. Like, they're not throwing out like none of these event skins have like bios attached to them like the Blackwatch ones did or anything like that, or the Uprising ones. Like, none of them say anything about the lore. None of them say like, oh, on his off days, like, Daddy 76 grills burgers for the Overwatch team or something like that. It's literally just like a funny like gag. It's the same thing as like Daredevil 76, where it's like, is he a stunt writer? No, he just looks like a fucking moron and he has a dumbass mustache like with a hat. Like, does it matter that much? I don't think it does. It's just for fun.
I mean, yeah, it's not. We're not arguing that it matters a lot. We're arguing something completely different.
I guess it just from that. That's my reasoning for why like I'm okay with this.
All right. Yeah. So the other game I was playing is Rocket League. I just did 10 games to place into a rank, and on PC for the first time, and I got into Gold 1. Okay.
Nice.
Which is not professional by any means. It's not even high level, but
it's enough to get third place.
It's
at
mid-level
tournaments.
It's enough to get third place at regional tournament.
It was at a regional tournament, right?
No.
Oh wait, yes, it was.
Yeah. So the only other thing about that is that with the PS4 controller, I've been playing with PS4 controller, and it didn't. Please, go ahead, speak up.
Gagging.
So I was just gagging. The D-pad and the right stick just didn't work off the bat. I had to literally look it up on a forum, and then there was some convoluted way that I had to go into Steam and like choose the D-pad and say like there was some weird like word I had never even heard before. It was like cross something. I don't even know. But yeah, I had to go into the settings and like manually make it so that it would recognize the right stick and the D-pad. So that really annoyed me. Other than that, that's pretty much it.
Interesting.
Okay.
Jordan?
So I've been playing a little bit of the Switch stuff. I've gotten way more into Zelda. I recently like beat the Elephant Divine Beast.
Okay.
Which was...
That was the first one I did.
Yeah. I liked everything getting up to it. Like, I thought the part where, like, you, like, get to, like, ride on one of the Zora's back and, like, shoot ice blocks out of
Prince Sidon?
Yeah, and he was a cool dude, and that was fun. But the actual, like, going inside the dungeon, I found to be, like... It was interesting at first, but I thought it took too long, like, compared to doing the shrines, and also it was just really repetitive. Like, everything revolved around, like, this one mechanic of move like the trunk like up and down, and it's just like, oh, like if you miss like the jump on it, you have to like wait for her to go back down and like do the thing back up, and like I just had to like repeat this process like multiple times. But like it wasn't like that long, which is fine, but it was just like compared to the like actual dungeons in like previous Zelda games, like it just doesn't compare at all. And also compared to what makes like the shrines fun for me, which is just like these very short like interesting one-off things. Like, it didn't have that either, and it was just kind of a, like, very, like, middle-of-the-road set piece. Also, I hated the boss fight at the end.
The boss fights aren't good.
It was trash. Like, I don't know if I was, like, under-leveled for this or something, but I went in and, like, I got one hit. Every single attack he hit on me killed me instantly, and, like...
Oh, that didn't happen for me.
It was the most frustrating thing. I'm just like, oh, like, I haven't seen this attack before. Oh, it killed me, and I have to do this entire fight again.
I didn't get one-shotted by the...
Yeah, me neither.
Yeah.
Do you have, like, armor at all?
I was using, like, the Zora armor. The Keelian hood.
How many hearts you got?
I think I went into that with 4.
Yeah, I mean, you might be a little under, like...
I think by the time I did that, I think I had, like, 7.
Yeah.
Oh.
I mean, me and Dane are probably much more of a grinder than that.
Yeah.
Not necessarily grind, but, like, I guess it kind of is. I did a lot of like adventuring on my own until because I found that place.
Okay, grinding.
And then I realized that I wasn't going out in this game.
Well, you weren't trying to level, but
yeah, but in
exploring
by virtue, yeah. But like when I found that place, I was like, oh, this is probably a story thing. Like, there's actually a cutscene. Like, I'll probably just not do this right now. And then I just ran off and did like a bunch of shrines and like did the whole thing where it's like, oh, that mountain looks cool. I wonder what would happen if I went up there and then jumped off the side of that and went to that place. And so I just did that for like hours.
Yeah,
so I had more hearts when I went and did that.
When the like, also like the most fun thing that I found to do in that game is like, I'm not like, this is one of the things I was worried about going into the game is that like I don't have the drive to just run around and like try to find my own adventure. I do like having that somewhat like guided, like at least like, hey, go here and like there's something here, which is why I just like found the quest line to do that Zora thing and just did everything in there, and like that was enjoyable. But like the most fun I had honestly was there's a part where you have to go collect like these arrows to like get into the elephant or whatever, and like you fight this like incredibly powerful enemy. I was like, yeah, I'm gonna fight this dude.
I bet he was almost one-shotting you. Like
he one-shot me immediately when I first fought him, and then like he killed me once immediately. I was like, okay, I can't like I'm not gonna be able to get hit by this guy. So like I just had to fight him and dodge every like it reminds me of like playing Dark Souls of just like reading patterns and like dodging, and like it was really fun like just knowing that I had to like I couldn't get hit, I couldn't do this stuff, and like it took every single weapon in my inventory to like finish him. Yeah, like I took all the weapons in my inventory. I finished. I was like, well, I hope he drops something because I have literally nothing left. Yeah. And like I killed him and got that stuff, which was cool. But yeah, the most fun I've had is just like running around and finding just like random like boss monsters that like spawn not randomly, but they just are in the world.
Have you seen the crazy like troll guys that have the necklaces of items on?
I found one of those guys near the Zora thing. I climbed like a mountain and fought like a rock golem.
Yeah, that spawns out of like, is it like the side of a mountain, like little valley, like little field? There's. It
was literally like on top of like this ridiculous mountain.
That's why I love that game, because like hearing this stuff is just, it's all organic. Like that's why I went and explored, because I was like, well, I'm bound to find something at the top of this like meadow over here, like way in the middle of nowhere, where you're like, there's no way that they could have, because I remember when the game was first coming out, I was thinking, it's an open world Zelda game, like they've never done this before. Is it just going to be a bunch of open space and you like going from like set piece to set piece? But it's the cool thing about that game is that you can literally get on your horse or just walk and run anywhere and climb mountains, and you're going to find something cool. Like something's going to happen pretty much wherever you go. I
do wish, like, I think one of the reasons that I may have had trouble with that boss fight is because I spend most of my upgrades on the stamina, because I find the limit on the stamina to be incredibly annoying running around. Like, the world is so large and open that it takes me forever to get to a place I want to get to, and, like, constantly running out of stamina is annoying, and, like, I used a horse for a little bit, but then, like, if you get far enough away from it, you can't call it anymore, so...
But you can go back to any stable and just call them.
Okay, and lose exactly where I am. Like, that's a backwards way of, like, getting to where I need to go, though.
Yeah.
Like, I would just have to go back to the stable, get my horse, go back to where I just was, like that. Like, I wish you could just call it from anywhere and, like, Witcher style and just have it come out of nowhere. Like, I don't care if that breaks the immersion. Like, that's way more helpful to me than it just has a range on it.
Yeah.
Because, like, that world is gigantic, and,
it's
like,
huge.
I'm, like, on a mountain, I'm like, okay, like, I see something over there, I want to go over there, and then, like, you could just fly part of the way there, but then a lot of times you have to, like, run around, and it's just, it adds just a little extra time to, like, do things that I wish was just somewhat, like, less restrictive.
Mm-hmm. There were definitely times where I was annoyed that I couldn't get my horse, but... I also sometimes was like, after I would get off my horse, I'd be like, oh, this actually allows me to move around a lot more freely and like climb stuff and like, you know, discover stuff more easy. So I like that too.
Yeah, because the horse, I feel like they could have like done a better way of like implementing that, because you can't like you're using the horse to just get from one place to another very fast, which is like not like what they're trying to do with that game. Like you want to run around and explore stuff, and like the horse I got just controls like garbage and like can't go like the places I want to go. Like he can't like go across this little ledge and stuff. It's just like, well, I'll just climb then. Like you're useless to me, horse. Go
Get out of
home.
here, Chad.
Yeah. I was gonna name my horse Fieri, but then I was like, I don't want to be riding around a horse called Fieri for however long.
I forget what I named. I think I named mine Francis.
I named mine Roach in respect, in honor of Witcher 3's trash horse.
Roach is terrible.
It's a terrible controlling horse, just like in Legend of Zelda.
Roach.
Roach. Fascinating.
Can't relate.
How do you feel about that game overall?
It's good. I've been playing Splatoon 2 also, but for the past couple of nights at least, I've mostly been playing Zelda just because I like.
It's a relaxing game.
Yeah,
It's fun.
I mean, I don't want it to be relaxed. I like being in those. Like that's what I enjoyed most. Is like that feeling of going up against these giant monsters that are like, oh, this is gonna kill you in one hit unless you like play like very well, unless you like are looking at it and like that experience of just wandering around, kind of like in like a Monster Hunter game. You just like are climbing and like on this rock golem to like get up on top to his weak point. Like that was just really interesting and like unique.
It's very unlike any other Zelda game.
Yeah,
which is cool.
And then the other game that I bought yesterday and played for a good few hours was Hellblade: Senua's Sacrifice, which is a game from I don't know if you guys remember from Heavenly
Ninja
Sword.
Theory, right?
Yeah, Ninja Theory. They did Heavenly Sword, which is like a very early game on the PS3, and Enslaved: Odyssey to the West.
And
Heard of
DMC?
none.
And
New
or was
Devil
that
May
Team
Cry?
Ninja?
No, that was them.
It was.
Positive.
Okay.
Yep.
DMC, great game.
Love it.
Didn't play the other two. This one is unlike any of those games. Those games are all Heavenly Sword is more of like a God of War clone, if you will, but
Sort of, yeah.
they're all like action games, like combo like driven, like dodging attacks and stuff like that. This game is like, I want to make it clear to everyone who is listening to this that may play this game, if you have heard of those games before and you like them, wipe this from your mind. This is not that kind of game. This is not a fight. This is not an action game. This is not anything like that. Game is like a psychological, like thriller horror game, and it needs to be heard as such, because I feel like a lot of people are gonna go into this like, well, this combat is like trash. Like there's barely any fighting in this. Like,
yeah.
But that's not what this game is. If you go in like that, you're gonna be severely disappointed. I went in kind of knowing it was something a little different. Also, you need to play this game with headphones. It's literally a necessity. If you're listening to this, put headphones on right now and go play that game, because the start of that game is, the basis for this game is that the character you're playing as has like psychosis, and she has voices in her head. She's kind of hallucinating things, and like it's done in a very smart way. Like even at the start of the game, it says like these character, like this story was like looked over by a team of like medical professionals and people who like have an understanding of this thing. So like it's not done in a like way that is gonna like shame people or like makes like light of it. Like it's very serious. And from the intro, like I got in, put my headphones on, I was like, okay, yeah, like this is cool, and immediately was unsettled like to my core. Like the start of the game was like, it's like frightening, and like it makes you think. Like I don't hear voices in my head, but playing this game, like it's like it's so unsettling to just you're constantly hearing just like things, and like they use like if you're an audiophile, binaural audio and 3D audio, so like
If you're an audiophile, I hope you're not listening to this podcast.
So you'll be hearing like someone will be like speaking on your left side, and just like as you're moving through the game, they'll fade in and out, and they'll like, you can hear them move in front of you and like to your side, and like there will be multiple people talking, and like it's unsettling because it sounds like the first time someone talks is just like they're just like right there on like your left or right side. I was like, holy shit, like that person literally sounds like they're like next to me. Like it was frightening. And also like when you're like hearing these voices over and over again, like it gets annoying. You're like, stop telling me these things, like stop doing this. And I'm just like, oh, this might actually be what it's like to like have some, like if you like have a condition like this and are listening to this constantly, it's just like I can barely take this. Like it's frustrating to like hear them, and like it I haven't beaten it yet. I think it's not a very long game. It's also like $30, so make of that what you will. I think it's about 6 hours long, or 8, I don't know, something like that. But it's a fascinating game. The facial animation is on point. It does kind of like get Uncanny Valley territory, because like it looks amazing. Second of all, it's a fantastic looking game, but like the way like Senua like emotes her face is like very, very well done, but she looks like, it looks too real at some points, and it's like it's a little unsettling.
Interesting.
But yeah, I would highly recommend this game if anyone wants to experience.
I have it on my wish list.
It's.
I was curious.
I think it's very cool. The opening like scene is like will set the bar for the rest of the game, whether you like think this is like a neat thing or not.
Yeah,
it like is very like affecting.
I'm curious about it. I'm gonna buy it. You know what? I'm gonna buy it.
I would recommend a lot of people to try it out. Again, $30.
I feel like it's a pretty fair.
Yeah,
I like the developer.
Yeah.
Like,
so
I'm down.
Yeah, but again, this is a story game. The combat is passable, but like repetitive. Mm-hmm. You just have like
the combat is the part where people have been like, I've heard it's like 20% of the game is combat.
There's not a lot of combat.
Like, it's people were saying like I watched a couple YouTube videos, and they were like, just deal with the combat. It's not that bad. Like, it's not terrible, but it's like it's worth putting up with that and like being okay with that.
Yeah, I don't think it's bad. It's just it's repetitive, but it's serviceable. Like, there's no parts like, oh, this controls like crap. Like, it controls fine. Mm-hmm. Everything controls fine. The game has puzzles in it too, which are pretty simplistic. They're kind of just like environmental.
You have to like arrange the.
Yeah, they're just like trying to like look at things in the environment, which is can be fun. A couple I found that have been kind of like annoying just because there's a lot of like walking around and stuff. But again, totally worth it. From what I played of it. Also, I don't know how much you guys have heard of this game, but and I don't want to spoil it because this was spoiled all over the internet the day it came out. But there's a point in the game where it says like you get inflicted with this rot on your hand, and you watch like a very like intense cutscene. Like, the voice acting in the game is amazing as well. The game like states in like a kind of a vague way. It's just like if this rot reaches Senua's head. Or it's like death has consequences. If the rot will grow. If it reaches Senua's head, all your progress will be lost. So don't die in this game. Make of that what you will.
That's cool. Interesting.
It's it's not as clear cut as that. There are things that happen in there, but like it like states that very early in the game, and it's very like just like like this is something.
Interesting.
Everything is something.
The seminal lyric.
Yeah. Let's bring it back.
It's a fascinating game. Highly recommend so far.
You're gonna have to try it out.
What have you been playing, Dane?
So, I've been playing Overwatch, of course, more Players Unknown's Battlegrounds. I still played a little bit of Slime Rancher. Still liking it. I feel like
slime update.
Yeah, I feel like that game is not for everyone. It's relaxing. I still say it's like a Harvest Moon. Like,
you're sounding more down on it than you were last week.
No, it's good. It's just it's for me. I really like those games because it's easy to just like you come home from work. You're like, I don't want to like I like my shooting games and action games and stuff, but sometimes you just want to play something that's fun and like charming and stuff. So it's really fun to sit down and just hear like really happy, like fun Nintendo charm, like music and menus.
That's why
and like
Nintendo exists.
It's so good, yeah. Like it is. It feels like a more like indie-ish, like slightly unpolished Nintendo game, where like you're playing it and you're just like, oh, the animation on that little slime dude is so cool. Like it looks so happy. It's like that where it's like I feel happy playing it, so it's fun. I enjoy it. But what I've been playing, this is not comparable to Hellblade in any way, because unlike Hellblade, I've been playing Mad Max a little bit, which is not a masterpiece of gaming by any stretch of the imagination. It's not a experimental game, really, but there's a lot of elements that I actually really enjoy about it. Basically, I feel like this game really went, not under the radar, but it came out and everyone was like, yeah, it's good. Like, it's a game.
It's also not specifically Mad Max Fury Road.
No, it's not Mad Max Fury Road, but I don't know how it worked with the licensings or whatever, but they use a lot of the, like, the same terminology and the same lore from the movies, so they don't really touch on it a lot. Like, they touch on different roles of the war boys in, like, the whole universe. So, like, Blackfinger's, like, the mechanics who, like, repair stuff, and they're like on the front lines of like if you're in a battle, like someone will be like repairing the engine and doing crazy stuff like that, and they're kind of like not lower class, but they're like they explain that kind of stuff where it's like these people do this guy is like a commander, this guy is a blah blah. So there's cool stuff there. And then the part I really like about the game is the on foot combat is like Shadow of Mordor. It's made by Warner Brothers,
Arkham
so it's like Arkham. It's like the press Y to counter, like you get your execution moves, you get like your combo meter and everything.
Right.
So which is fine. I mean, say what you will about that combo system, it works pretty well. And it's cool in Mad Max because it's not like Batman where he's like doing martial arts and stuff. It's just like, oh, I'm gonna take this guy's head, or I'm gonna take this guy and just like literally body slam him like a wrestler, or like I'm gonna break this guy's arm and just like, not in a cool way, it's just really brutal. He's like, oh, this guy's
They
dead.
have like
And
environmental stuff.
they do, and so you can put their head on cars and like slam their heads on cars and shit. Like
Good.
it's pretty intense. So it's really brutal, but what I really like about it is that it captures the feel of Fury Road in the sense that while there's car chases happening or things like that, like it's so chaotic and just almost stressful because you hear people just screaming and they're like, get him, like the fucker's driving over the thing or whatever, and they're literally just screaming at you and yelling random stuff, and like War Boys will, like a car will pull up next to you. First off, this is developed by Avalanche, who did Just Cause. So it has really good car mechanics, and they have like that burnout takedown system where like as you're driving next to people, you can slam them, and you'll hit their car, and then it'll explode, and it'll pan to it and do a slow motion shot of the car like flipping up and people's bodies like flying out of the car and stuff. So as you're playing it, like it's fun because if you like car like racing games, and you like Burnout and you like Mad Max, it's like an actually well tuned like racing kind of combat game. But then you get all those cool elements of like, you'll be driving and like a car will pull up and it'll have like the crazy spikes and like it'll be a huge thing just like out of the movie, and then like a war boy will like jump onto your car and like try to rip you out of the car, and like you'll have to like you'll swerve and everything.
Can you smash them into walls while they're on your car?
Yeah, and you can smash them into other cars too.
Sick.
So there's moments where you're playing it where like I found myself getting like, which is weird because again, this isn't a masterpiece of gaming or anything, but the car combat itself is really cool because you can customize and have like boarding spikes so that if people jump on your car, they'll like get impaled on spikes, and like you can like change, like you can put like Spy Hunter style like razor blades on your wheels so you can like cut other people's tires, and like you have a grappling hook that you can use to pull car doors off or tires off. So like if someone's driving next to you, you can pull their tire off and hit them, and their car will flip based on physics, like around another direction or something. So while you're playing it, it sort of has that element that I like of Mad Max, where as you're watching it, you're like, that car just fucking like flew in the air and it
flipped like 40 times.
Yeah, and you're watching this and you're just like, wow, that's incredible. But then when you're playing this game, you can just make that stuff happen. So as a huge Mad Max fan, it's actually I probably like it more than I should. But there's something really fun about it.
Yeah,
and it's one of those games I can kind of turn my brain off and be like, I'm gonna go do this like bandit camp. Like it has that like.
Yeah, this game came out like under the radar a little bit, but also came out in a year where like a bunch of open world games came out at the same exact time. Like,
that's the thing.
This came out in the same year that like Metal Gear Solid 5 did, which by and large was a way more like popular game.
Oh yeah,
and like took over way more people than like, and I'm pretty sure it came out at very close to the same time. I'm sure a couple other open world.
Within,
games
I think it was
well.
a summer game. Like it was probably around either a little bit before or a little bit after that. But I feel like it's. I bought it when it was on sale on Steam a while back, like on a whim when I first got my computer, and it was like $12 or something like that. For that price, I'm happy that I actually really like it. So I found myself, it's fun to get home and like I'll play like Tekken or something, or like one of those games where it's not like a story driven game, but I can just jump in and do something, and it's cool because you'll see progress on your car. Like, oh, I got like a sick new, like the boarding spikes, or I got like an upgraded grappling hook so I can pull off like stronger doors or something. And then as you play, like you're getting into more convoluted car chases and things like that. So it's fun.
See, I'm in the opposite camp where when I get home, I like to subject myself to psychological torture.
Which is why you play
I
Hellblade.
games like Senua Sacrifice. Also, Hellblade Senua Sacrifice is a shit name for this game.
That is a terrible name.
Like, I feel like I wish they had come up with something way better than that, because I feel like it gives off a bad impression of what this game is like trying to convey to people.
Or they had called it Tenzo-Taicho.
They called it Tenzo-Taicho's psychological adventure.
Into Wonderland.
Yeah.
So I would say, yeah, that's really random because that game came out a while back, Mad Max, and it's probably not a game that many people will even care about that much. But if you like Fury Road, And if you need just I would say a really fun game to play that's not gonna win like any Game of the Year awards, Mad Max is pretty solid, and it's also on sale a lot on Steam. So.
If you want to play a game that you know isn't gonna win the best of any category, Mad Max.
But it's not bad, and it's not like a masterpiece of like gaming. It's not like a landmark game, but I would say it's pretty good.
All right, it's pretty good.
I've had a lot of fun with it.
Nice.
What have you been playing, Coulter?
I already talked about it.
Let's go back into Overwatch.
Oh, that's right.
Let's get back into it, boys.
All right. Fummy do. Okay, what time is it?
It's time to draw a movie out of a hat.
Is it my turn?
Might be mine.
Do you come after me? I don't remember.
I picked my own wild card, I think.
You picked no. Someone else picked the wild card and you picked it.
No, you definitely picked the wild card and then chose Office Space.
Do you guys know who picked the other ones?
Yeah, I picked Interview with a Vampire. Dane, I'm pretty sure, got Bill and Ted's.
No, Tom got Bill and Ted's.
That.
Oh.
But it was your pick
that
you gave up. And then you used your pick on Interview with a Vampire, right?
Yeah, so it's Dane.
It's all dependent on whether or not I picked my own wild card, and I think I did.
Did you?
I think so.
But if you did, then it's me.
Yeah. Go ahead. So the Wacky Film List, we've already described it, and I won't describe it again.
But if you were going to describe it again...
No, we've already described it. It's a list of 40 films that we wanted to watch. He's picking one randomly out of a bag right now. There's a bunch of pieces of paper, and we're going to know what it is. Next week, we're going to review this movie.
Watch it if you can watch it.
Yeah, you can watch it yourself. Pay for it legally.
I'll give I give you permission to watch this movie.
We absolutely don't encourage illegal downloading.
No. I mean, being serious, we haven't done that. We've watched every movie
we've paid for or streamed every movie.
You should try
legally.
to as well.
It's true, we actually have. We know that there are ways to illegally download films.
Wait, hold on, that's not true. We had to watch Funny Games illegally.
No, we didn't.
No, we didn't.
No, we didn't.
That's right. What was I thinking?
We watched everything
legally. I must have had psychosis that day.
One more thing about Hellblade.
Toast?
If you guys, it connects to me like I connected with Apocalypse Now. It has that same kind of like psychological adventure.
Well, I was gonna play it until that.
Yeah, I didn't want to say that because I knew, but again, I think everyone should try it. If you buy it on Steam, you can try it for a couple hours. See if you like it or not, but yeah.
You got your grubby mitts on a movie yet?
Yes.
That was my wild card.
All right, here it is, boys. The
Shining.
Oh, okay, right. A classic.
This movie has been a long time coming.
I've wanted to watch this for a long time.
Wait, is this the new Shining?
What?
Isn't there a...
Jordan, there's one Shining. It's made by one of the masters of cinema, Stanley Kubrick.
Yeah, wasn't there like a newer one?
There's only one fucking Shining.
I don't think so.
The only one that I care about is... Actually, wait, hold on. There's The Shining, this one, and then there's a made-for-TV movie, Shining, that Stephen King apparently says is better, in his opinion.
Okay, so I'm thinking of the movie where like there's a commercial where some guy gets run over by a lawnmower.
The Happening?
The Happening. Okay.
That's with Mark Wahlberg and is a shite film.
Yeah, I was gonna say because I thought that was a remake of this.
What's happening?
The Happening is happening. What's happening, my dude?
They're killing people.
There's like
the acting is so bad.
There's some like line that's like popular from that. I wish I could remember it.
I'm pretty sure it's just Marky Mark saying something really dumb.
No. The poison in the... Yeah, no.
Yeah, the poison... Apparently, actually, spoiler alert, in that movie, apparently the water is, like, making people crazy or something.
And it's not even the plants.
Yeah, it's
the fluoride in the water.
Oh, it's the plants or, like, the...
Turning the frogs gay.
Yeah, the water is turning the frogs gay.
That's a hot InfoWars riff.
Honestly, I only get my news from InfoWars / Alex Jones.
If we had to get news directly from the source from you, where would we find you?
Infowars.com.
Infowars.com. Find me. I'm a big proprietor of Breitbart News Network. It's fantastic. If you want to find me anywhere else,
I'm going to clip that out.
Are you?
No, but
okay. No,
I could.
You could, because you're the You're the master and commander of the far side of the world.
I can make you say anything.
You're
It's
Mussolini,
true.
and you have control.
You're
over it.
Mussolini. It's a sick callback. If you want to find me, you can find me at Lane to Point, Twitter, Instagram, most gaming handles, and of course, Pornhub. You can look me up on Pornhub and find me, Lane to Point.
Okay.
How far does this joke go? I never know.
He's taking it all the way.
limits of this joke.
There's no limits to it. It's just I choose to edit
It's
it.
not a joke. It's just.
It's not a joke. I gotta look. I want my followers.
That's fair.
Yeah.
Get free followers at.
Pornhub.com.
Hot singles in your area.
There's something in my eye.
Where can we find you, Coulter?
Kermit, take it away. You can.
That's not Kermit.
You have to talk like
You can find me at Coulter Potter on Instagram and Twitter.
Wait, is it you
Yay!
saying this, or is Kermit saying that about you? Because you said you can find
Audio
me on-
listeners will never know.
Kermit was saying that.
Yeah, what are you talking about,
Obviously.
man?
So
Thanks,
his-
Kermit. Where can they find you, Jordan?
You can find me, the Killamilla, on Twitter, on Instagram,
On iTunes reviews of this
iTunes
podcast.
reviews. Some guy has the same name as me on there. He left a really good review. You should leave one like it on our iTunes page. But yeah, you can find me again, the Killamilla. I'm not gonna spell it. You guys will find it on most social media websites. That's my handle. Stop playing footsies with me, Dane.
Whoops.
Yeah, the Killamilla. You can also find my Tumblr, Tendo-Taicho.
That you won't spell. I forgot to add one
necessary.
more. If you want to leave anonymous feedback about me or just roast me anonymously or to my face, you can email at us, or you can roast any of us, really. It's not so subtle at gmail.com.
Mm-hmm.
You can find us on Facebook, on Instagram, also on our Twitch. I don't know. You could really only roast us if we're playing something at that time.
Which you should try to do, I mean.
Right, and you should definitely watch us. But if you want to roast us any day of the damn week, at any time, just send us an email, throw it over to our Twitter.
Yeah.
If you want to roast me personally anonymously, download that Sarah Haha, whatever the fuck app it is, that #1 app on the App Store right now, and it's at Lane to Point.
All right, thank you, Shill. Let's give.
I just want to know. I just want people to roast me, fam.
Sarah haha Shill.
Roast me, fam.
Are they paying you to be a social influencer and like hawk
Yep.
their new app?
They are.
Nice.
Yep.
You have that clout.
I got trust me. I got a lot of clout. I don't know what clout is.
But you got it.
Clouty with a chance.
I mean, if someone has it and I don't, I want it.
Nice.
Get us out of here.
Guys, I just want to say that we may have gotten some new watchers of the podcast.
Yeah.
We've got some new likes on our Facebook page, and I thank you for joining us. If you've watched this far, you're a true fan.
Tell your friends.
Yeah.
And
Appreciate
if
it.
you are a true fan, that means you'll you'll do things for us. No. If you feel inclined, please like, share, review it on iTunes, and all that stuff.
Google
Yeah.
Play, maybe?
Sure.
Google Play, I mean,
We're on there.
if you want.
Yeah.
I'm
if
not
you
gonna
want.
ask
if you're,
you to do
If you're a
anything.
cretin, YouTube, leave a comment.
Yeah.
It's easy to leave a comment on YouTube. They encourage it.
It is.
Guys, we have...
Give us a thumbs up. Just click that fucking
Just so
thumbs
you
up.
know, we're still committed to this whole thing, and we have different types of content. We're always thinking about what new types of stuff we want to do with our
true.
lives.
There's one in the works that I think we're all a little excited for. We won't say what it is, but it could be a fun little segment.
Mm-hmm.
I want to keep it vague. I don't want to say
Yeah.
anything about it.
Yeah, that's good.
Well, I'm not going to promise anything. That's
No,
why I
yeah,
haven't
that's
said
that's the
anything.
other thing. It's like it's a work in progress. Like it might not pan out, but the concept of it is pretty funny.
Yeah. Just know that this isn't the only thing that there's ever going to be. Hopefully, we have bigger and better plans for our lives.
Sure. So
Again,
stay tuned. Stick with us.
And just
it's an ever-growing brand, okay? Follow us on this journey.
listen. I want you to listen to me right now. It's
Yes.
not hard. Just click the thumbs up button. It's really not hard. It's not hard at all.
Yeah.
Just
The
thumbs
hardest
up.
part is getting to this point in the video.
Yeah, exactly.
And
Well,
if
trust
you've done
me,
that,
I
you
know.
win.
hey, but maybe they didn't make it this far. Maybe they listened to the segment that they enjoyed. Maybe they'll give us
Yeah.
a thumbs up anyway. Maybe they'll listen. Maybe they.
Maybe all they do is scrub to the plugs section of the...
Yeah, maybe.
Probably, yeah.
Probably
They probably
I would
scrubbed the
say-
Overwatch section and they got really upset at my hatred.
Yeah.
But listen,
Yeah,
that
they
was
were
very
like,
real.
"Oh, Jordan only wants cool stuff. He hates fun."
That's an argument for a different time.
Okay. Well, that's been the lucky 13th episode of Not So Subtle. I look forward to seeing all of you next week.
Me too.
Not you guys. This is like, there's no choice, but yeah.
Okay.
Why are you looking at me? I'm not.
I don't know.
I don't want to do anything.
Okay.
Don't
Guys,
stop
thank you
looking at
guys
me.
for watching.
Okay.
And Overwatch is a puppet to their community. Goodbye.
I'm gonna set the place on fire.
Guys, just tell Blizzard anything. He'll do whatever you want. So
I'm
just go
gonna,
ahead. See you
I'm
guys
gonna
next week.
burn the place down. Took me a staple.